This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It's Friday.
I can't believe it.
I'm so glad. It's Tori. I'm Tori, here with Lindsay and Al.
It's Tori.
It's Tori.
I mean, you weren't wrong. It was
It is you. It was a weird way to introduce myself. Well, let's get started, everyone. So we talk a lot about cancel culture, am I right, on the show? And if people can come back from being canceled and when they should be allowed back. So if you recall, we're going to go back in time. Jeffrey Toobin got in serious trouble last fall. He was on a work Zoom call when he was seen by his coworkers doing some very inappropriate things of a sexual nature. Now, As a result, he was fired from the New Yorker magazine and suspended from his job as a legal analyst on CNN. But then yesterday, he made a return to the network, and here's what he explained about the situation.
This was deeply moronic and indefensible, but I mean that is part of the story. And you know, I have spent the 7 subsequent months, miserable months in my life, I can certainly confess, trying to be a better person. I mean, in therapy, trying to do some public service, working in a food bank, which I certainly am going to continue to do.
Food bank.
I was trying to connect the dots of those two things.
So what do you think about Jeffrey's return on CNN? Should he be allowed back?
So a lot of times when we cancel people, let's say for like racist actions or whatever, there are actual steps you can take in organizations you can meet with that will teach you a little bit about educating yourself. When he says he's volunteering at a food bank, I don't know how that assists him with his issue of not knowing how to properly behave during work hours.
Thank you.
On work calls around work calls, you know.
Thank you.
So it's kind of confusing. You guys were talking right before we went on air, like how important was he to CNN? I was thinking the same exact thing. Like, why is this so crucial? I mean, I don't know how to rectify this. Like, that was just very stupid, like he said. But come on, you're a grown man. Like, and I'm always saying somebody's grown, but like, come on, just wait.
And if you are doing that in a work meeting, pretend it was at work, you would never be allowed back into the workplace. Why is this guy, is Toobin like that good?
I don't know if he's that good. You know, this is a lot to unpack because it seems like kind of a silly story on its front. But if it happened to somebody here, somebody behind the camera, and they got caught doing something like that, I think we would want them back because we personally like them. I think maybe viewers would be like, why don't you just go get another, you know, I don't want to say cameraman because our cameramen are there, but why don't you go? But it's like, no, that to us, that's a person.
Right.
We want them back here. We know that we know their heart. But at the same time, that you could consider that not sexual assault, but like some sexual
harassment,
something,
least,
you know, lewd exposure. So I don't know what they're opening themselves up to legally. I don't know why he doesn't get away with I'm a sex addict, because everybody pulls that card and it's worked for everybody else, so why not him? So it's just a lot to unpack, but it's just weird that they don't get another legal analyst.
Well, here, that's the question. It's like, why didn't Chris Harrison or Morgan Wallen or Ellen DeGeneres or like any of these other people get asked back, but he did?
I'm really stumped here. Like, I really am stumped. I don't know.
It's a weird thing, right?
The N-words, and when you start talking about people using the N-word, that's a word in which people have been killed while that was being shouted at them.
Absolutely.
So when you start taking it there, that's another universe. That's like the Marvel. You can't go there. There's too much
Ellen's issues had something to do with, you know, well, they said that some of her staff leaders were sexually inappropriate. So, you know, that's a similar issue to compare it to, and it's just like, okay, let's just end this. We're canceling it. But I don't know how much of that was Ellen's decision also, like this is going too far, versus him maybe really wanting his job back.
Yeah, I didn't think that was a great apology. I don't know why he's back. I would have loved to have found someone else.
But and also, if you look at the leverage that Ellen has, who is a juggernaut in daytime TV, and Jeffrey Toobin, they're two different
but why
levels.
Is he
but
back?
I mean, really, Ellen didn't kind of really survive it. She just they allowed her to land her plane.
And he did survive, and I don't get it. I really don't. All right, let us know what you think. If you're getting pulled over, do you pull over right away, or do you wait until you find a very safe spot to do it? Well, that's the question after this happened. Okay, I want to watch this video with you and narrate. A state trooper in Arkansas is being sued. He was pulling over a pregnant woman for speeding, and when she didn't pull over after a few minutes, okay, we are too fast in the video, he pulled a pit maneuver, which ended up flipping her car over. The trooper said she should have pulled over right away. Meantime, she says she was waiting until an exit came because the shoulder was too narrow. So what do you think of what the trooper did? I looked up Arkansas law, and if you're uncomfortable, you're supposed to put on your hazards, let the police officer know you will pull over, and pull over when you feel comfortable. So she actually did exactly what she was supposed to do.
Besides the hazards?
She put the hazards on.
She did have them
She put the hazards on.
I was looking for that.
And
she put them on, and he pitted her.
To me, I know that I panic when the police are behind me. And like, that's a real feeling. I immediately panic, and I'm just like, okay, what to do? Because then I kind of lose my driver's reverse control and try to figure out where I should get off or where I should go. It's happened to me before where I'm just like, okay, let me pull over. And then I also have seen people on the highway, terrible accidents when I was a news reporter, that people didn't move over in another lane and hit somebody on the side of the road. So even as a pregnant lady right now, I can understand why she didn't want to pull over in that shoulder that did look pretty narrow. That wasn't like a huge highway. So for the officer to hit her and she followed all the rules there, I think she has a lawsuit on her hands.
I think she has a huge lawsuit. Al, what do you think?
I mean, I remember when I was growing up, there used to be those World's Wildest Police Chases and those kind of clip shows, and there would always be a police officer that either got clipped while he was talking to somebody in their window because somebody passed too quickly, or grabbed somebody out of the car and then a car came and hit that parked car that was going 75 miles an hour on the freeway. There was nowhere to pull over. This is a pregnant woman, but also we're lucky we're just talking about a pregnant woman.
I know.
She cut across 3 lanes of highway on what looked like a bridge.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, what is the, like, who are these people?
I know.
Who makes that decision?
I know. And she does have a lawsuit actually against the police officer and the police department. I would think they need to relook at that. Just so you know, she thought she had actually lost the baby at one point. They couldn't find the heartbeat when she went to the hospital. She is okay. The baby's okay. The mom's okay. Everybody's okay. But terrifying.
But look at how that accident ended, and she was only a few months pregnant, I think 2, and so it's just like, think about the stress that she's going under trying to just figure out how to safely do this and also follow the rules. I just think this is bad policing, an example of it, and just how somebody's not protecting their citizens. Because what was he pulling over for? I mean, unless it was a high-speed gun chase.
It was like an 84 and a 70. It was like 10 or 15 miles per hour.
That's what I mean. It wasn't anything where she was running away from robbing a bank.
Exactly. There was nothing needed to do that. All right, well, 4 women had a very close call on a Texas dam. Their boat nearly went over the edge, oh my gosh, before it was spotted by a rescue crew. The life vests were lowered down to them, and another boat towed them away from the edge. Wow. Rescuers also shared this picture showing just how close they came to going over the edge. What would you do if this were you?
I'm jumping out, just trying to swim to some kind of safety. I don't know.
Lindsay, that will not work.
Well, that's where my first mind went.
It's not going to work.
Not work is an understatement. Because the saddest thing is, they'd be like, is this everybody in your boat? Be like, no, Lindsay jumped out.
She just left.
You don't know why. Why? You think that people can't swim against the current?
No, people die that way, Lindsay, many times.
In life, there's no one who, we do this every time.
Fish can't.
We do this every time. There's always one person that's done it. I was like, there's no one in history. I'm going to find somebody in the commercial break that swam against the current.
The majority of those that tried to go against the Mother Nature have failed. Yeah. But would you, I would go.
So you just watch yourself like, hey, I'm just going to end my life here. I'm going over with the boat.
No, immediately take something shiny, put it at the sun, blink, blink, blink. I'm going to the back of the boat, trying to make people go to the back of the boat, flip it this way.
You would have all that in mind.
I would be in survival mode.
So your plan is to flip the boat as you get closer to the edge?
You would end up in the water also.
No, I'm trying to give them both the weight in the back.
You're going to be panicking. This is why I tell people, don't do anything. Like we were talking before the show started about horse riding. That's going to be bad. Don't get in the boat with your friends. You're going to go over the edge. Just stay at home.
Al, you don't do anything. You're becoming like a weird
I like
hermit.
writing.
I thought she meant don't do anything like accept your fate.
No,
don't go anywhere.
Al doesn't want to go outside. It's very strange. All right, before we go to break, we got to show you this super sweet viral video. A North Carolina principal bids his graduating seniors farewell with a song. Here's his rendition of the very easy to sing, right? Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You.
And I will always love you.
He hit the you.
Yeah.
That part's hard.
I was expecting him to mess it up, man.
That song is one of the hardest songs to ever sing, created and written by Dolly Parton.
Yes, I didn't know that. And then I was like, how do you feel when someone makes a song? But Whitney Houston, I don't want to offend Dolly Parton fans, but I think Whitney Houston did it better.
She said in her documentary, Dolly Parton, she goes, that woman Whitney Houston made me a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, I don't think you're offending her at all.
Not at all.
What a way to send your students off. And I think a lot of people, you know, as a former educator, people go, why would you go into education? There's no money. It's because some people love the students and they love doing it. And I talked to a lot of teachers. My nephew was here last weekend, and, you know, I was talking with him, and he was like, like, oh, the money's not great, but I love my kids.
Yesterday,
You know?
I spoke to some 5th graders on Zoom because they were graduating and going to middle school, and that made my week.
Yes.
You know, I was like, oh, this week is so hectic, but I did it still, and I was so happy. So I think that that's an awesome thing to do, and
We
have a
love our
teacher or a
teachers.
principal or anybody in administration like that.
That's true. We love our
And then
educators.
Lindsay saying, I will always love you.
I didn't sing, though.
And they
I
logged off.
didn't sing.
I was gonna say, do you want to sing? All right, coming up on DBL, a woman is sharing, this is crazy, her story of being kidnapped not once, but twice by the same person when she was a child. How could this have happened? We'll explain coming up.
And I hope you have all dreamed of. And I wish you joy and happiness.
Closed captioning provided by
Greatest game ever invented. My great-great-great-great-grandfather learned the game from the Chinese.
You can rock these bones, you can start a cult.
Dominoes, Battle of the Bones. Yeah. It's such a fun movie. I mean, Barron's incredible. First-time director, he did a great job. Wrote the script with his friends, the whole group put together this amazing movie. Just so many talented people in it. It's so much fun.
It feels like we've been talking about space tourism for decades, but it could finally be launching into reality. Let's connect the dots. In April of 2001, wealthy businessman Dennis Tito paid $20 million for a seat on a Russian Soyuz. It was pricey for a short trip, and since then, only 7 people have followed suit. According to reports, NASA's always been hesitant to allow tourists to travel with astronauts. It was really only the Russians, looking to cover costs, that were willing to let tourists on board. But now, with the rise of private companies, options to travel into space are popping up left and right. Blue Origin is planning a suborbital flight on July 20th. While Jeff Bezos and his brother will be on board, there'll also be a winner of an online auction. And in September, SpaceX is launching 4 civilian astronauts into space on board the Crew Dragon capsule. Despite these promising steps, it hasn't been smooth sailing. Virgin Galactic is the other big private player when it comes to space tourism. A pilot was killed in a crash in 2014, and engineers were forced to make changes. Now it says it won't launch tourists until 2022. Then there's the price. Depending on the trip, tickets range from $55 million to $200,000, keeping the stars out of reach for most of us.
Welcome back to DBL. This is an insane story. She was abducted twice. So unique, this story, that it's become a documentary and a podcast. But Jan Broberg says the full picture still hasn't been told. Earlier, I spoke with Jan, who wants to set the record straight. But first, let's catch you up on her story. It's October 17th, 1974. The first time Jan Broberg's life changes forever. The then 12-year-old is kidnapped by her neighbor, Robert Berchtold. They head to Mexico, where Jan is legally allowed to get married. During the trip, he brainwashes her, saying she is supposed to have his baby to save an alien race. Young and innocent, Jan believes him. While crossing the U.S. border to come back home, Robert is arrested. He blames the disappearing act on his depression, and Jan defends him. Berchtold's traps had worked.
Jan Broberg and Robert Berchtold had an unnatural relationship.
I loved him as deeply as I've ever loved anyone.
Before the kidnapping, he spent years earning the Brobergs' trust. He even started a secret affair with both Jan's mom and Jan's dad.
But while out on bond for kidnapping charges, the affairs become blackmail. Robert uses them to lessen the charges. He is sentenced to 5 years, but serves only 10 days. Fast forward 2 years to the summer of 1976, when Robert kidnaps Jan for a second time.
There'll never be anybody for me but Jan. Never.
The now 14-year-old still believes she is destined to have Robert's child, so she actually runs away from home. Robert enrolls her in an all-girls school in California so he can visit. Jan is eventually found by FBI agents, and Robert is arrested for kidnapping again, but he is never convicted. At age 17, Jan tells her family the truth, writing a book with her mom. Robert denies the claims, committing suicide in 2005.
When we come back, we talk to Jan, who wants to set the record straight, revealing the details she says the documentary missed. Stay with us.
This was...
DBL is your daytime destination. Fully agree with this. We're chatting with the stars.
Have you checked in on Lori Loughlin?
You must have read my mind.
I've never felt better or been in a better place in my life.
I think the director yelled cut.
And talking about what everyone is talking about.
It's a real thing.
And I thought it was great.
I'm here for it.
Why is anybody surprised? I tell you what, polarizing for sure.
DBL is all new every day.
When the world went into quarantine for coronavirus, frivolous footwear got shoved into the back of the closet. Crocs and Birkenstocks made a comeback, as many of us chose comfort over looks. But with more people returning to work and traveling, heels are once again flying off shelves. The head of the Footwear Distributors and Retailers of America told the New York Times he's seeing a noticeable increase in the sale of dress shoes, and that there is real concern over whether there will be enough supply for all of that demand. Makes sense, since Google searches for high heels have spiked higher than a pair of stilettos in recent weeks, and people aren't just looking for any old heels. Designer footwear is in high demand. In fact, Manolo Blahnik, made famous by the patron saint of high heels, Carrie Bradshaw, announced it's bringing back its 5-inch heels, something the company hasn't sold in several years. It's a sign that as we hopefully return to normal, we will once again sacrifice comfort for a splash of style. Connecting the dots, I'm Rekha Muttaraj.
Welcome back to DBL. We just told you the story of Jan Broberg, a woman who was abducted twice as a child. Earlier, I spoke with Jan to get the details she says her Netflix documentary got wrong. Take a look at this. Jan Broberg joins us now. Thank you, Jan, first off, for taking the time out of your day to be here on the show. So many people wonder why your parents never took any legal action once you told them the truth. Do you wish that they had, or are you happy with their decision?
Well, they didn't know until I was 17 years old and he was long gone.
Right.
At that point, you really don't know what to do. You've gone on with your life. Everybody wants to put it behind them. This is very common even today, that people don't go back and find the person. He wasn't married to his wife anymore. She had divorced him. He had moved around, didn't really know where he was. And I didn't want to talk about it anymore. I wanted to be done. I was heading off to college, and it really wasn't until my early to mid-20s that I really started to explore what had happened and write about it and call my parents and ask them questions and you know, why didn't you know? How couldn't you see it? You know, all those things that I went through. But it was very short-lived because I had parents that listened to me, loved me unconditionally, and I was one of those lucky ones that it wasn't in my family. It wasn't one of them. They were innocent too. They'd been manipulated and brainwashed as well.
I want to ask about that, Jan. Talk to me about what you call, and which is so true, the grooming process of not just you, but your whole family.
So the grooming process is as simple as becoming friends with a family. I mean, that grooming was all about picking the kids up and taking them to school and talk to my mom, you know, while she's doing the breakfast dishes at the kitchen sink, or go get my dad and, hey, let's go to lunch. And those were all ways of grooming and manipulating somebody.
I wanted to ask you, you don't seem to have a lot of anger towards your family and your parents. You seem to really forgive, respect, and love them. Talk to me about how that misconception is out there.
Yeah, that was really hard for me because the first time I saw the documentary, I was like, this isn't who my parents are. My parents made mistakes like most human beings do throughout the course of their life. They make a mistake, they do something that they regret, that they wish they hadn't done. But my parents were completely innocent. I had 12 perfect childhood years. If it was a red flag, my wonderful parents would have shut it down, put him in jail, or done whatever they had to do, but they didn't know because it's so not obvious. They're so very sly.
That's why he's
successful. That was really hard.
Let me say I have that feeling with my family, that weird intuition, right? That ripple that you feel. What should I do, Jan, if I feel that?
This is really good because I've spoken to a number of police departments and I've gotten feedback from them. And what they told me is the most important thing is to keep a record. Like on this day, at this time of day, when this was happening, I had this gut ripple, or, you know, I call it that little wave that goes through your gut for just a second. But they said if you keep a record, that the pattern will start to emerge. And even if it's only 3 or 4 things that you write down, you should file it, go to the police department and start a file.
Right, so make sure you document, journal, take the dates down. And I got to be honest with you, you're saving lives by telling people right now to listen to that wave of intuition. Literally, you're saving lives. Now, before we go, a lot of people who know your story and saw the documentary, they just want to know how you're doing. How are you, and what's the future look for you? How are you doing, Jan?
I'm doing great, and I'm very excited because we've signed the papers to do a 10-part scripted series on my story, so I can tell the full story.
Bravo. Jan, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Really appreciate it, and I'm telling you right now, you are saving lives. Thanks so much. We'll be right back.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments. So the educator really hit home. We have Henrietta saying that rendition of I Will Always Love You sent chills down my arms. Can I be honest? At first I thought, oh no. I thought he was going to be bad.
I wish that any staff member did this on my graduation day, because this is just beautiful.
Like, he's so confident, too. I love that.
Makes me want to send my kids to North Carolina.
Yeah, it does. Wanda says principals don't get enough respect. That's totally true. And Sandy says teachers and educators are the unsung heroes of our country. We love you, teachers. That's not an easy song to sing. If there's any song you think you could sing well, do you know what it is?
Belle Biv DeVoe Poison.
We did karaoke together.
That's my go-to.
I'm more I can rap well. That's
you can
what
rap
yeah,
well.
I can sing. That's it. I'm not going to sing.
Okay, can you do a little?
I can do like Will Smith, like
try it, go.
Getting jiggy with it. I'm not.
Here we go. I'll give you a beat.
Copyright
Maybe
laws.
in the commercial break. Missy Elliott, hello.
There you go.
Tori, what about you? What can you sing?
I can rap as well. I'm just kidding.
Okay, we're gonna do it in the break.
We'll do it in the break. DBLs do every day. We'll see you Monday, same time, same place. Bye, guys.
We're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
Jeffrey Toobin returns to TV after his Zoom scandal.
I am trying to become the kind of person that people can trust again.
Should he be allowed back on air? A woman is kidnapped as a child twice by the same person. Now, she's sharing her unbelievable true story.
And it's not by a scary stranger that looks weird. It's by somebody that looks like your best friend.
Love him or hate him, it's the end of a reality TV era. After 20 seasons, the Kardashians say goodbye. And is David Arquette ready to spill Scream 5 secrets?
Oh, man.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
Oh man, this is such a good crew. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Friday. We made it, everybody.
Yes,
June 11th. I'm Tori in for Sam today. We have Jeff, Al, and Lindsay. It's lovely to see you all.
What's going on?
Squad.
Look, you started today's show much more calm. I know they were getting on your case earlier this week.
I let it go like a water off a duck. Is that what you say?
Water off a duck's back.
That's what I said.
Well, see, you just ruined it.
Yeah.
I'm on the right foot.
All right, let's talk about cancel culture on the show. We often talk about it and if people can come back from being canceled and when they should be allowed back. So, if you can recall, this is Jeffrey Toobin, and he got in serious trouble last fall. He was on a work Zoom call when he was seen by his coworkers doing some very inappropriate things of a sexual nature, and as a result, he was fired from the New Yorker magazine and suspended from his job as a legal analyst on CNN. But yesterday, he made a return to the network, and here's what Jeffrey Toobin himself explained about the situation.
This was deeply moronic and indefensible, but I mean that is part of that is part of the story. And you know, I have spent the 7 subsequent months, miserable months in my life, I can certainly confess, trying to be a better person. I mean, in therapy, trying to do some public service, working in a food bank, which I certainly am going to continue to do.
Food bank? Okay.
I think he was working at a different kind of bank.
Yeah, okay. Wait, you bad. All right, what do you think about Jeffrey's return on CNN? Weird. Should he be allowed back? We're all laughing and stuff, but I was shocked that CNN allowed this person back into their fold after what happened. There are a lot of good legal analysts. I didn't think Jeffrey Toobin was that good that he could have done what he did, gotten away with it on work hours, and still be okay to just be there. I was shocked.
I'll start because we talked a little bit about this before we started. So I would be a hypocrite if I said that this man didn't have a path back, right? Because I always want people to have a path back. We were kind of giggling at this. I think this is a little bit different than the usual cancel culture. I'm trying to balance this panel out here because I know where you guys are going to go. But
do you think he should have been returned?
I just don't know if he brings enough to CNN to be like, hey man, here's you're coming back. I don't mind if he gets another job, but a place at the same table. Right. I don't know. But I want him to have a path back.
So on the one hand, his call that he was doing inappropriate things on was for the New Yorker. It was a Zoom call for them and not for CNN. And so that's like his side job, firing you for something you do at your day-to-day job. And so still, it's just like, what is the protocol? As somebody who's grown, you understand that even if you just got off a work call during work hours where you are working or writing or whatever you're doing, why are you doing inappropriate things during that time? And he's an adult. And so it's just like, who do we let back? Who do we not let back? Right. Some people have really egregious acts where they say racist stuff. And then even if you let them back or give them a path to redemption, there are organizations specifically laid out that they can meet with to learn more and do better. With him, I don't really know how a food bank is going to help out. Yeah, I wasn't understanding the connection.
No, I didn't understand that.
Al, can you help us out?
Lindsay, I think you hit it on the head when you were like, I think that he's in a place where he didn't do anything so egregious that he can't come back. He did something super embarrassing.
Dude, I think it's super egregious.
Look, it could be considered in some circles sexual assault, almost like, if you were doing that, in somebody's window, like a peeping Tom. So if somebody at CNN was like, this is triggering for me, I cannot work with this person, I don't think we'd be having this conversation. But I think everybody was like, this is somebody we've worked with for years, no matter how we feel about them. We don't really care about legal analysts. I don't think anybody's a fan of any of them. But like, so they're not so famous. So I think that they're like, this is somebody we like and trust. They did something embarrassing. I don't want to see his whole career come down because this will follow him forever.
Okay. Well, I think he should have been let go and not returned, and they should have hired someone else. I really do.
But do you think there's a path back for any of these
Absolutely.
things?
I agree with you. Have another job. Find another job. Absolutely.
He was fired from his full-time job, though. We have to remember this is like his side job. So he was fired from the New Yorker, and that's a done, finalized deal with CNN.
I just don't know why bring someone back with that did that. They would never do that if anyone did that in the actual office.
Instead of saying food bank, why don't you play the I'm a sex addict card?
That's what I was
Al
thinking.
said the same thing.
That's an excuse for everything. I understand that there are sex addicts out there. We differ about that all the time, but just play that card.
That's what I thought he was going to do.
Yeah, interesting. Let us know what you think.
With the food
all
bank.
right, this food bank. All right, if you're getting pulled over, do you pull over right away? This is going to be interesting. Answer me to the TV because I bet some of you are saying something different. Or do you wait until a safe spot to do it? That's the question. After this happened, a state trooper in Arkansas is being sued. He was pulling over a pregnant woman for speeding, and when she didn't pull over after a few minutes, he pulled a pit maneuver, which ended up flipping her car over. The trooper said she should have pulled over right away. Meantime, she says she was waiting until an exit came because the shoulder was too narrow. So what do you think of what the trooper did? I looked up Arkansas law. You are actually allowed, if you're uncomfortable, to put your hazards on if you don't feel comfortable. She did that and acknowledged the police officer and say, I'll get off when I feel comfortable. He absolutely broke the protocol in this term, and she thought she had lost the baby at one point. So horrible take. You're pregnant at the moment. How do you feel?
Well, even before I was pregnant, I feel nervous when the police lights go on around me, whether they're for me. I just get nervous, and because I don't know what to do. Like, I'm not like the most organized in like rushed moments, and so I wouldn't pull over right away either. But for him to kind of look like he like knocked her off the road when she followed all the rules, put on her hazards. I know as a pregnant lady looking at this shoulder and knowing how many accidents occur from being a local news reporter with people that pull over on the shoulder and get hit, or their car gets hit, or they get hurt. I wouldn't pull over pregnant on that busy highway either. So I'm not blaming her, and I think she has a lawsuit on her hands.
She has a good lawsuit. What do you think, Jeff?
I also get nervous too when the cops are behind me. I'm like, do I have cocaine in this?
I know,
Yeah.
right? You're not doing anything. You're just like,
I
did I kill someone? I don't know. I don't know. I think I did.
I think it's a normal reaction. But having seen that video, and she said it was a little narrow, it did look a little narrow if we run that back a little bit. It looked a little narrow. And I do watch a lot of police shows, right? And this is like an extreme to make a pit maneuver. And it seemed like he did this pretty quickly. I'm not speaking for the police department. I don't know the protocol there. But when I watch those shows, they're like, you know what? There's too many people around. Don't do that maneuver. And they'll tell them back, like, don't do that. So for him to pull this maneuver, I would like to hear his side of the story, why he thought they were in such danger or danger to the road.
Yeah, because she was going 10, 15 miles over the speed limit is why he pulled her over.
So I'd like to hear the other side and see why he did that and so quickly.
Yeah, just really quickly, I think this is best case scenario that we're talking about. She cut across 3 lanes of traffic. We saw cars going by after she was flipped, so she could have been hit. Somebody else could have been killed. This could have been a double, triple vehicular homicide. So I mean, the fact that he decided to do that, I really question that. It did not seem like she was posing an imminent threat. And like you said, with the police chases, when they're chasing somebody that's running from a bank, sometimes they'll back off because they're going into a civilian area. So the fact that this is kind of desolate, I don't know why he did that, but the lawyers will figure that out.
Yeah, I think we have a winner on our hands. All right, well, coming up on DBL, is David Arquette ready to spill any secrets from the upcoming Scream 5 movie? We're asking him. It's a hilarious interview you can't wait to see. And later, a woman is sharing her story of being kidnapped not once, but twice when she was a child by the same man. How could this have happened? And next, Dr. Paul Coley explains.
She talked to me.
No, you're not a doctor.
She asked me for help on this one.
No, they didn't. Dr. Paul Coley explains the new Delta variant. Have you heard of it? Well, we got it. Don't miss this coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by
Greatest game ever invented. My great-great-great-great-grandfather learned the game from the Chinese.
You can rock these bones, you can start a cult.
Dominoes, Battle of the Bones.
Yeah.
It's such a fun movie. I mean, Barron's incredible. First-time director, he did a great job. Wrote the script with his friends, the whole group put together this amazing movie. Just so many talented people in it. It's so much fun.
Becoming a new mom is tough, made even harder during a pandemic. And now it appears mental health issues for new moms are on the rise. Let's connect the dots. A new report out of Canada says mental health visits during the postpartum period were up 30% compared to before the pandemic. Reports of anxiety and depression for new moms were up 39%, and reports of substance abuse issues for that group were up as well. One interesting finding in the report was women who lived in less populated areas reported more normal levels of mental health issues starting in the summer. Researchers think that's because COVID cases in those areas in Canada started to fall around that time, allowing for less social distancing, more in-person school, and in-person dining. Mental health experts point out that social support can be crucial for new parents, especially new moms. The pandemic cut many people off that social network and added to the stress of protecting a brand new baby. All this making a tough time even tougher.
Welcome back to DBL. We have Dr. Payal Kohli joining us. We have a couple of questions about a new variant and other issues. Welcome, Dr. Kohli. Welcome to the table. You look great in blue, as always. Millions of Americans have been vaccinated. The numbers have slowed down, yes. But, Doc, the 3 vaccines in circulation are FDA approved for, quote, emergency approval. And I want to know the difference between that and full FDA approval. And do you think more people will get it once it's fully FDA approved?
So, you know, Tori, psychologically, certainly I think more people are going to get it once it has full approval. But I'm glad you asked me this question, because if you look at the difference between emergency use authorization, which is something the FDA can do during public health emergencies, and full approval, there are no shortcuts when it comes to the science. So the clinical trials are exactly the same. The research, the adverse events, the shortcut really occurs in the administrative piece of it and the manufacturing. So they basically start making the vaccine even before it's approved, which is how you save the time. So rest assured that even under EUA, all the science is robust, all the phases of the clinical trials were done.
That is very good information.
That's reassuring.
Yeah.
Now, Doc, we've spoken about variants before, and now I'm starting to hear about this Delta variant, which makes me very uncomfortable. Can you explain what it is and make me feel comfortable?
Well, I'm not sure. Well, you're vaccinated, so you may feel comfortable because the vaccines do protect against this variant. But Al, this is really a super variant, is what I like to call it. And it's thought to be largely responsible for all the cases in India, the way that the virus is spreading there. And it's also now become dominant in the United Kingdom. And here in the US, 6% of cases now are due to the Delta variant. And this variant is really a super variant in the sense that it can evade the immune system, and it's much more contagious. By far the most contagious variant we've had so far. But as I said before, the vaccines work, so I think you guys know what I'm going to say. Go out and get that vaccine if you haven't already.
Absolutely. Hey, Doc, there's recent news that 2 fully vaccinated and asymptomatic passengers on a Celebrity Millennium cruise tested positive for COVID-19. Now, they only found out because of required testing. So how do you react to this situation, Doc?
Yeah, I heard this. So I have to say I'm not surprised, because we know that no vaccine is 100% effective, and there are going to be some breakthrough cases even in fully vaccinated people. But Jeff, I think 2 important lessons from this. The first is that even if you're fully vaccinated, remember to keep your guard up, as I always say, because there's still a chance you could catch an infection, even though, as in this case, it's likely to be milder. But the second and more important one, Jeff, I think is a public health message, really, which is that we should still be testing. Even as more of us get vaccinated, I don't want tests to go away, because that's how we're really going to pick up a lot of these cases that are less symptomatic.
So, Dr. Kohli, just yesterday, the CDC announced that it will hold an emergency meeting next week because of reports that teenage boys are having heart inflammation after the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine. So can you unpack that for us?
Yeah, so a lot of different things, Lindsay, to unpack over there. So we're just really trying to figure out, is the vaccine causing this complication, or is it just associated? And unfortunately, in this case, it's starting to look more and more likely that the vaccine is actually causing this complication because of a few clues that we're seeing. The first is that it's occurring soon after people receive the vaccine. The second is that it's clustering in a similar demographic, so it's really occurring in young males. And then the third is that the rate of myocarditis, or inflammation of the heart muscle that's occurring, is higher than the background rate. So we think it's a real signal. The CDC is meeting next week to see what to make of it. But I want to remind everybody it's really, really rare. Less than 0.002%. So even though it might be real, of course, the risk of this complication is far less than the risk from the virus itself. So go and get your teenagers vaccinated. Al, what do you think about this? You've got some teenagers.
Well,
does this worry you?
It absolutely does. I mean, both my teenagers are vaccinated, but the youngest one, baby Ford, who's almost 7, but he's going to be baby Ford forever. He's not vaccinated. So, you know, I'm actually going to that CDC meeting next week. So
you're not
I'll report back to you guys. Yeah,
let us know how it goes.
I'm going to be there.
Dude, Dr. Kohli, I apologize again.
Report back to us, Dr. Jackson.
He's not Dr. Jackson. I hate this.
I'm going with that? He's wearing a white coat.
Oh, I'm so irritated. Thank you, doctor, so much. David Arquette and Baron Davis are coming up next. Again, no medical degree
Dr.
whatsoever.
Jackson.
Oh, God. Thanks, Doc. DBL is your daytime destination.
Fully agree with this.
We're chatting with the stars.
Have you checked in on Lori Loughlin's?
You must have read my mind.
I've never felt better or been in a better place in my life.
I think the director yelled cut.
Then talking about what everyone is talking about.
It's a real thing.
And I thought it was great.
I'm here for it.
Why is anybody surprised?
I tell you what, polarizing for sure.
DBL is all new every day.
When the world went into quarantine for coronavirus, frivolous footwear got shoved into the back of the closet. Crocs and Birkenstocks made a comeback as many of us chose comfort over looks. But with more people returning to work and traveling, heels are once again flying off shelves. The head of the Footwear Distributors and Retailers of America told the New York Times he's seeing a noticeable increase in the sale of dress shoes and that there is real concern over whether there will be enough supply for all of that demand. Makes sense since Google searches for high heels have spiked higher than a pair of stilettos in recent weeks, and people aren't just looking for any old heels. Designer footwear is in high demand. In fact, Manolo Blahnik, made famous by the patron saint of high heels, Carrie Bradshaw, announced it's bringing back its 5-inch heels, something the company hasn't sold in several years. It's a sign that as we hopefully return to normal, we will once again sacrifice comfort for a splash of style. Connecting the dots, I'm Rekha Muttaraj.
Dominoes, the greatest game ever invented. My great-great-great-great-grandfather learned the game from the Chinese. Then he smuggled it back to America, where it spread like on ribs.
Welcome back to DBL. That was a clip from the film Domino, Battle of the Bones. And earlier we caught up with actor David Arquette and director Baron Davis to talk about it and all things Domino. Check out this truly hilarious Chatting with the Stars. David Arquette and Baron Davis, welcome to DBL. It is such a pleasure to have you on, and we're going to get to your new movie, which sounds amazing. But first, David, one of your famous roles is Sheriff Dewey Riley from the Scream franchise, and you are starring in the upcoming 5th film. So is there any, like, insider info you can give us about the movie, like, who did it?
No, I can't talk about it at all. But I can't talk about Dominoes, Battle of the Bones.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Oh, man, it's such a fun movie. I mean, Baron's incredible. First-time director. He did a great job. Wrote the script with his friends. It's the whole group put together this amazing movie. Just so many talented people in it. It's so much fun.
Baron, like David said, this is your first time directing. So how'd you make that transition from basketball into Hollywood?
For me, I think, I was kind of like somebody, they call him a gym rat in basketball. I guess in film, you would call him like a production rat. So I would just hang around, commercials and things like that. And then I got lucky, I had a bunch of friends kind of pick it outside of David Arquette's house and be like, sign up to support the movement.
I like it.
Yeah, I made that crossover from the NFL to TV in Hollywood. The biggest struggle has been the teleprompter, so bear with me on this one, fellas. And David, you're actually an athlete as well. I mean, you're a pro wrestler, so I want to know, which job do you enjoy most, acting or wrestling? And would you fight one of the Paul brothers? Ooh.
Oh, man. Wrestling hurts. That's just, I think I'm done with all that. I'll stick to playing dominoes now. But The Paul brothers, I don't know. It's been crazy seeing all that. It's fun to watch.
I just want that to be your promo. It's fun to watch.
Let's face it, you really just want to see the guys get punched.
Totally. All right, let's get to Domino, Battle of the Bones. Okay, now this is a comedy about a black man who teams up with his awkward white grandson to defeat his rival in a domino tournament. First, I've got to ask you, Baron, why dominoes? Talk to me.
I wanted to tell these stories of people that I watched growing up that I thought were funny and hilarious. And that's why I put it in, that's why I wrote this movie.
You guys mentioned Snoop's in the movie and everybody loves Snoop, but I want to know, David, not acting, just in a true game of bones between you and Snoop, who would win and why?
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Ooh.
Oh, man, I'm sure Snoop's got the experience. So I would just hope I drew some lucky bones and figure it out.
That's a pay-per-view I pay for.
Snoop has a match.
I had a public Los Angeles high school education, so my math skills are not the best.
Baron, how about you versus Snoop, Baron? Who would win that?
Oh, I would definitely win. I had lost. I wrote the movie because I ain't never really lost a game of dominoes that I can remember. And my family, my great ancestors, they actually put the black dots on the tile to create dominoes.
Wow. Unbelievable. I really want David.
You know what? The only reason he's never lost is because when it gets down to the last couple bones, it's like, oh, you see that over there? Game never ends.
You think you could slam your dominoes down?
And I can talk smack like he said?
How would you slam down your dominoes?
Yeah.
I would say this. Abracadabra, this.
You can practice on the Dominoes Battle of the Bones.
You're amazing, guys. Thank you so much. David and Baron, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for chatting about your new movie. Don't forget to catch Domino, Battle of Bones, out in theaters right now. Such a pleasure. We'll be right back. Bye, gentlemen.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Verify here with your fast fact. The White House is making a push to vaccinate 70% of Americans by Independence Day. Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff tweeted that you can get a free ride and childcare for a vaccine appointment. So let's verify. Can you get free transportation and childcare to get vaccinated? Our sources are rideshare companies Lyft and Uber, the Centers for Disease Control, and the YMCA. In May, Lyft and Uber announced they'll give anyone a round-trip ride to a vaccine site in any city they serve. It's a partnership with the White House to help remove barriers that could stop someone from getting vaccinated. Another hurdle is childcare. The CDC has a list of providers who will watch your kids for a few hours, including the YMCA's in more than 500 communities, for free while you get your shot. So we can verify it's true. You can get free transportation and childcare to get vaccinated. Many of the programs end July 4th. With your Fast Fact, I'm Brandon Lewis.
After 4 bloody years, the Union defeated the Confederacy to win the Civil War and abolish slavery in April 1865. There were nearly 4 million slaves in the U.S. at that time. Union armies began marching through the southern states, freeing thousands of slaves each day. The news took months to reach Texas, the westernmost state in the Confederacy. On June 19, 1865, Major General Gordon Granger and 2,000 Union troops rode into Galveston, Texas, and told slaves of their freedom. The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves. Granger's words spread through Texas. All at once, slaves found out the war was over and they were free. Their joyous, spontaneous celebration gave birth to Juneteenth. Juneteenth, a combination of the words June and 19th, commemorates when the last enslaved people in the South were finally set free. Many slaves were met with violence, even death, when they tried to leave. Yet the promise of freedom extinguished fear and fueled generations of indestructible people. Former slaves gathered on Juneteenth the next year, and the year after that. And over the decades, Black communities observed the holiday with festive family gatherings, colorful parades, and bountiful barbecues. Texas became the first state to make Juneteenth an official holiday in 1980, and since, all but 3 states recognize Juneteenth as a holiday. While it is not a federal holiday in the U.S., following the summer of protests in the wake of George Floyd's murder in 2020, private companies have made Juneteenth a permanent paid holiday for their employees. Juneteenth is a celebration of independence, the day all Americans were truly free.
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments, and a lot of you wrote in about the trooper. Sydney Roberts on Facebook said, they used to say turn on your flashers and proceed slowly until you get to a safe location. Has that changed? The answer, Sydney, is no, and the woman did proceed to put on her hazard, so interesting that he still pitted her. Lisa says, I would actually call 911. Would anyone do that to make sure that it's legit and say that officer is making me feel unsafe?
Call the police on the police.
You think to do that
I think
in
a lot's
moment.
going through your mind.
Yeah. And finally says, I put my hazards and drive home or a safe place with people around. Police know when hazards are on to follow till the individual they are following is comfortable to stop.
Because that can happen somewhere that's not a highway. You can just feel unsafe in a dark area, and you're allowed to keep driving.
Where there's lit area, right? Interesting.
That's the opposite of dark.
Oh my God, I can't stand you. If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube. You can chat with other viewers. You can leave your comments and be part of DBL Nation. But if you are sticking around, here's what's coming up. Imagine being kidnapped twice and surviving that ordeal to tell all about it. One woman is sharing her unbelievably true story, and just like that, it's all over. The finale of Keeping Up with the Kardashians aired last night. So what's next for the famous family? And a big thank you to our coworkers watching from home. DBL's new every day. We'll be right back.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Thank you, David. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. I'm Tori. I'm in for Sam today, and I'm here with Jeff, Al, and Lindsay, and we're having a pretty good Friday.
We are.
Aren't we? Huh? Friends?
Jeff All and Lindsay?
Al. I said Al.
Yeah,
I heard
you said all.
All right, well, it's Al. Officially, it's the end of an era. It is the last episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and it aired last night. Now, the family started the show back in 2007. 20 seasons, many babies, and a few divorces later, the Kardashians have become a household name. They ended the run by reflecting on the past and putting items like Kim's first signature fragrance and Kris's momager license in a time capsule. The Kardashians have come a long way. Back then, Kris started the reality show to be like another famous family, the Osbournes. Y'all remember that?
I remember.
Mm-hmm. Take a look at this tweet from the E! Network, looking at where they started and how it's going today. Kylie was 9. Wow.
Crazy.
Now she's a mom running a multi-million-dollar cosmetics brand. Kendall was 11. Now she's a supermodel. Khloe was 23, single, and the family wild child. Now she's a mama. And Kim was best known as Paris Hilton's assistant. Now she's a mama of 4, going through her 3rd divorce and studying to be an attorney. All right. First of all, I love the Kardashians. I've stood up for them since day one. At the auditions, I stood up for the Kardashians. Very happy for their run. Not many people on TV do it.
No, I mean, they built an empire. You say what you want about them. They're in the news every day. They built an empire, and there's proof.
And
it's
they were
all on
consistent,
video.
exactly. Let me ask you, Lindsay, what were you doing back in 2007?
So I found the dweebiest picture. I was actually studying abroad in London.
Of course you were.
And that's the picture.
Wow.
And so that's where I was.
Oh my goodness.
And now I'm about to have a baby, like
Yay!
tomorrow.
Oh, that's
so things have changed, but I was excited to be studying abroad. And I actually sent another picture because I was reading the Financial Times every day because I thought I wanted to be a financial journalist. So I was interning at Merrill Lynch at the time. So that changed also.
You look like you wanted to paint pictures of people in front of the Eiffel Tower. That's what you look like.
Well, I was trying to be like, this is a trip we took to Paris. I was trying to be like Parisian, and it was a fail with that.
No, that's
the beret works.
Yeah, it was a doofy. It was a doofy wannabe.
It was good. Albert, what were you doing? Were you, you were 30, right? Back in 2007?
Wow.
Just kidding. I'm just
And
kidding.
I was. I was a middle school teacher in my late 20s, just starting to do stand-up a little bit and kind of just starting to get the idea that maybe I might want to do this professionally, but that was me. I was probably drunk inside of a 7-Eleven.
Too cool to smile.
No, I think I was just in there with my friend trying on sunglasses before I'm sure we were asked to leave. But yeah, I used to have fun. It was like, I was living in Miami at the time. It was like the Wild West. You just had fun. There was no social media. I just enjoyed my life down there.
And now you're like this sober, strong dad, great co-host. How do you feel about yourself now?
Boring.
Wow.
No,
And he doesn't want to do anything.
Yeah, no, I love it. I'm happy.
That's fantastic.
How about you, Tora? What were you doing?
I was trying to make it. Here's Stop It Bird. This is my headshot.
Look at that
I'm making
smize.
it.
You got a smize going on.
I smize, and you know you're in front of a rustic door, so you could be on Law and Order. You know what I mean? You have to take those certain headshots to make you look like you could do whatever you want.
That was a good picture of you, yeah.
I got nowhere.
You have a bunch of classic photos. Even your high school photo was like very smizey and like while everybody else was a dweeb. I really appreciate it.
Oh, there's definitely some pictures that I have not shown that are dweeby, but yes. How about you? What were you doing in 2007?
First of all, I don't have a picture because I didn't know we could just send in a random picture. I thought in the morning meeting, I was like, let's send in a picture of what we were doing, like to sum up 2007. I'm like, I don't have that. I don't know. Anyways,
so you failed at your homework is what you did.
Yes, I failed at my homework. But in 2007, I was coming back from Los Angeles, a failure, back to Chicago. I kind of went through a rough little patch, and I was doing telemarketing, my old job that's for a 15-year-old, but I was 29. And my boss kind of got me on the right path. And then when I finally got my mind right, Big Brother hit when I was 31, and it's been up since then.
Wow, that's a good story, Jeff.
Yeah, you said your boss was the first person to talk to you about positivity.
Because I did fail in Los Angeles, and I had to come back with my tail between my legs, and he put me on the right path. He'd make me listen to motivation for like 4 hours a day, and then be on the phones the other 4 hours of the day. And it worked, because my business, my success went up there, and my success went up when I was auditioning in Chicago. So it paid us both ways, but I do owe gratitude to him. And
what's his name? Give a shout out.
Dave Deeney, man.
There you go.
My mentor.
There you go.
That's awesome. About that stuff, yeah.
Wonderful. Look at that. Well, switching topics, we got Rebel Wilson. She's revealing the inspiration behind her dramatic weight loss. So Rebel told Shape magazine she dropped 66 pounds during her year of health, mostly due to moderate walking. She also revealed that fertility was a major factor in getting fit. She said she's turning 40 at the time and was thinking about freezing her eggs. Experts told her that the healthier she was, the better the process would go. I know all about that. I'm turning 40. People are all around me, fertilizing eggs, embryos, everything, in the best shape you are in. I know it sounds like I'm having omelets made. There's eggs everywhere. I would say that the way you take care of your body affects the way the eggs work out, and this is totally relatable to me. Lindsay?
No, there are a lot of my friends that are going through this and even struggling through this that have just lived these lives that you talked about when you were younger, just drinking a lot, and now they're trying to like rectify all the decisions that they made, even just eating unhealthy every single day and going out too much, staying up late. And so they're just trying to make some smarter decisions. So I understand not only turning 40, whether you want kids or not, but just knowing that your metabolism's slowing down, you have some choices to make. These are real things that I'm learning, like how I'm about to lose this baby weight because I'm not 23 anymore. But it's just like real things that you think about that are like your body changes as you get older. So I understand her saying this.
I have a trainer 3 times a week for half an hour. I mean, it's nothing crazy. Let's not be real. But it's only because I can't do anything the same anymore.
Because I think this is a motivation. I think you just need motivation, right? Her motivation was she wanted to freeze her eggs in the best possible condition. Whether it be a revenge body, whether it be whatever you're looking for, you need that type of motivation to get you going. And I think this was hers.
That's a good point. What's your motivation? You work out a ton.
Al's like the biggest success story. I got to get my life together, sitting next to you. I'm like,
she's here today, our producer Patty, because I used to always be a weights guy, but like I would work out, but then when you don't eat right, you just look like an ex-bouncer. You know, like your body, you look like a failed linebacker. So I wasn't like losing the weight I wanted to. So Patty took me to Soul Cycle, and I was like, I walked in, it was like 27, young, well-to-do young women, and I was like, well, let me get done with this class. A minute in, I was like, if my feet weren't magnetically attached to these pedals, I would have just walked out. I was so tired. But after I got through the first couple classes, the weight started falling off. So starting to move a little bit, I got a bike at home, and that was what did it for me.
Wow, Soul Cycle. I remember,
out to Patty.
I was like, here's Al, he's coming, he's like, Patty, are you on seat 22? I'll be at seat 21.
Oh, we would coordinate our seats and everything.
It was so cute.
Patty, I hope you still go. I'll be there in September.
And Patty did it, and Patty is the biggest success story.
Glow up,
she's ripped. Yes.
Ripped, Patty. We love you.
Yeah.
We love you. All right. Well, it looks like Ben Affleck spending some time with Jennifer Lopez's mom. This is interesting, though. The two were spotted together in Las Vegas where Ben's shooting a movie. Not crazy. According to Page 6, though, JLo's mom was hanging out with Ben at the Wynn Resort Casino while Ben shot his scenes. Well, it's not clear if mom is involved in the movie, but her daughter was not spotted on set. JLo and Ben have been spotted out and about since last month. It's rumored they have rekindled their romance, but neither is officially confirmed they are dating. All right, the big part of the story that I want to get to is Ben Affleck has a gambling problem. He's a gambling addict, and he's been kicked out of the Hard Rock Casino in Las Vegas, banned. So JLo's mom is actually quite a good gambler. She once won $2.4 million in Atlantic City. So people are worried.
Ben Affleck get kicked out because he won too much?
I'm not sure if he won or if he was becoming an addict.
Because they kick you out. An addict. They'll take everything he has. They don't kick you out for that.
Well, at some point he was banned
Jeff,
from it.
excuse me, you're losing a little bit too much money. Could you move it along?
I think his behavior might have been a problem too.
His behavior might have been an issue as well, I was going to say.
I looked at it as him trying to rebond with JLo's mom because I think they're getting serious with this.
But over a casino?
Well, that's her. That's where she feels most comfortable. So why, he's filming a movie. It's a good chance to get some points in with mom. My question to you guys, and I go back and forth with this, can you have a sustainable relationship if you don't get along with the in-laws?
I think it's going to be hard. I think the first thing you need to do is go to somebody's parents, because I know if my mom doesn't like you, she's constantly going to be in my ear. She's in my ear about what I wear on the show every day.
Yeah,
so if she doesn't like you, she's going to be like, well, this is my opinion today, and it's just going to make it an issue every day when I go home and lay next to you. So I think that he's smart. I don't know if he would meet her at the gambling table. It's going to met her at dinner, but he chose to step out and take a chance, and obviously he's trying to get in good graces with the whole family.
Yeah, I think you got to get along. I know not a lot of people do.
Yeah, some people do have the hard.
Right, but I think it's better. It's easier, like Lindsay said, if it is. I mean, I kind of think in the back of my mind want my parents to always like the woman I was with, and they love Jordan. It worked out great, but we could stop speculating. If you're hanging out with Jennifer Lopez's ma, you guys are back together.
Would you have stayed with Jordan if your parents were like, we're just not feeling her?
I don't know. That's a good question, man. That's
to me, it's not even worth it.
You'd think like, no, because I love that person, but it worked out great. I love her parents. My parents adore her, I think, more than me.
Yeah, they
So it definitely helps.
It turns out like you and the person against your whole family.
It's
That's how it always ends up.
It's really a tragedy because it turns out everything goes wrong. I will say in Yiddish it's called mishpucha, the families-in-laws. They all get together.
Whew, that sounds like a
Glad
dish.
you told me that.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, bring in the weekend.
All right. I can't stand you. Coming up on DBL, she was snatched by a family friend not once, but twice as a child. So how could this happen? Why one woman's story could help save countless children out there. And that's our DBL staff working hard at home during the pandemic. We'll see you all again soon. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by
Greatest game ever invented. My great-great-great-great-grandfather learned the game from the Chinese.
You can rock these bones, you can start a cult.
Dominoes, Battle of the Bones.
Yeah.
It's such a fun movie. I mean, Barron's incredible. First-time director, he did a great job. Wrote the script with his friends, the whole group put together this amazing movie. Just so many talented people in it. It's so much fun.
Becoming a new mom is tough, made even harder during a pandemic. And now it appears mental health issues for new moms are on the rise. Let's connect the dots. A new report out of Canada says mental health visits during the postpartum period were up 30% compared to before the pandemic. Reports of anxiety and depression for new moms were up 39%, and reports of substance abuse issues for that group were up as well. One interesting finding in the report was women who lived in less populated areas reported more normal levels of mental health issues starting in the summer. Researchers think that's because COVID cases in those areas in Canada started to fall around that time, allowing for less social distancing, more in-person school, and in-person dining. Mental health experts point out that social support can be crucial for new parents, especially new moms. The pandemic cut many people off that social network and added to the stress of protecting a brand new baby. All this making a tough time even tougher.
Welcome back to DBL. She was abducted twice, a story so unique that it's become a documentary and podcast. But Jan Broberg says the full picture still hasn't been told. Earlier, I spoke with Jan, who wants to set the record straight. But first, let's catch you up on her amazing story.
It's October 17th, 1974. The first time Jan Broberg's life changes forever. The then 12-year-old is kidnapped by her neighbor, Robert Berchtold. They head to Mexico, where Jan is legally allowed to get married. During the trip, he brainwashes her, saying she is supposed to have his baby to save an alien race. Young and innocent, Jan believes him. While crossing the U.S. border to come back home, Robert is arrested. He blames the disappearing act on his depression, and Jan defends him. Berchtold's traps had worked.
Jan Broberg and Robert Berchtold had an unnatural relationship.
I loved him as deeply as I've ever loved anyone.
Before the kidnapping, he spent years earning the Brobergs' trust. He even started a secret affair with both Jan's mom and Jan's dad. But while out on bond for kidnapping charges, the affairs become blackmail. Robert uses them to lessen the charges. He is sentenced to 5 years, but serves only 10 days. Fast forward 2 years to the summer of 1976, when Robert kidnaps Jan for a second time.
never be anybody for me but Jan. Never.
The now 14-year-old still believes she is destined to have Robert's child, so she actually runs away from home. Robert enrolls her in an all-girls school in California so he can visit. Jan is eventually found by FBI agents, and Robert is arrested for kidnapping again, but he is never convicted. At age 17, Jan tells her family the truth, writing a book with her mom. Robert denies the claims, committing suicide in 2005.
When we come back, we talk to Jan. We want to set the record straight with her, and she reveals the details she says that the documentary missed. Stay with us. DBL is your daytime destination.
Fully agree with this.
We're chatting with the stars.
Have you checked in on Lori Loughlin?
You must have read my mind.
I've never felt better or been in a better place in my life.
I think the director yelled cut.
And talking about what everyone is talking about.
It's a real thing.
And I thought it was great.
I'm here for it.
Why is anybody surprised? I tell you what, polarizing for sure.
DBL is all new every day.
When the world went into quarantine for coronavirus, frivolous footwear got shoved into the back of the closet. Crocs and Birkenstocks made a comeback as many of us chose comfort over looks. But with more people returning to work and traveling, heels are once again flying off shelves. The head of the Footwear Distributors and Retailers of America told the New York Times he's seeing a noticeable increase in the sale of dress shoes and that there is real concern over whether there will be enough supply for all of that demand. Makes sense since Google searches for high heels have spiked higher than a pair of stilettos in recent weeks, and people aren't just looking for any old heels. Designer footwear is in high demand. In fact, Manolo Blahnik, made famous by the patron saint of high heels, Carrie Bradshaw, announced it's bringing back its 5-inch heels, something the company hasn't sold in several years. It's a sign that as we hopefully return to normal, we will once again sacrifice comfort for a splash of style. Connecting the dots, I'm Rekha Muttaraj.
Welcome back to DBL. We just told you the story of Jan Broberg, a woman who was abducted twice as a child. Well, earlier I spoke with Jan to get the details she says her Netflix documentary got wrong. Take a look at this. Jan Broberg joins us now. Thank you, Jan, first off, for taking the time out of your day to be here on the show. So many people wonder why your parents never took any legal action once you told them the truth. Do you wish that they had, or are you happy with their decision?
Well, they didn't know until I was 17 years old and he was long gone.
Right.
At that point, you really don't know what to do. You've gone on with your life. Everybody wants to put it behind them. This is very common even today, that people don't go back and find the person. He wasn't married to his wife anymore. She had divorced him. He had moved around, didn't really know where he was. And I didn't want to talk about it anymore. I wanted to be done. I was heading off to college, and it really wasn't until my early to mid-20s that I really started to explore what had happened and write about it and call my parents and ask them questions and you know, why didn't you know? How couldn't you see it? You know, all those things that I went through. But it was very short-lived because I had parents that listened to me, loved me unconditionally, and I was one of those lucky ones that it wasn't in my family. It wasn't one of them. They were innocent too. They'd been manipulated and brainwashed as well.
I want to ask about that, Jan. Talk to me about what you call, and which is so true, the grooming process of not just you, but your whole family.
So the grooming process is as simple as becoming friends with a family. I mean, that grooming was all about picking the kids up and taking them to school and talk to my mom, you know, while she's doing the breakfast dishes at the kitchen sink, or go get my dad and, hey, let's go to lunch. And those were all ways of grooming and manipulating somebody.
I wanted to ask you, you don't seem to have a lot of anger towards your family and your parents. You seem to really forgive, respect, and love them. Talk to me about how that misconception is out there.
Yeah, that was really hard for me because the first time I saw the documentary, I was like, this isn't who my parents are. My parents made mistakes like most human beings do throughout the course of their life. They make a mistake. They do something that they regret, that they wish they hadn't done. But my parents were completely innocent. I had 12 perfect childhood years. If it was a red flag, my wonderful parents would have shut it down, put him in jail, or done whatever they had to do, but they didn't know because it's so not obvious. They're so very sly.
That's why he's successful.
That was really hard.
Let me say I have that feeling with my family, that weird intuition, right? That ripple that you feel. What should I do, Jan, if I feel that?
This is really good because I've spoken to a number of police departments and I've gotten feedback from them. And what they told me is the most important thing is to keep a record. Like on this day, at this time of day, when this was happening, I had this gut ripple, or, you know, I call it that little wave that goes through your gut for just a second. But they said if you keep a record, that the pattern will start to emerge. And even if it's only 3 or 4 things that you write down, you should file it, go to the police department and start a file.
Right, so make sure you document, journal, take the dates down. And I got to be honest with you, you're saving lives by telling people right now to listen to that wave of intuition. Literally, you're saving lives. Now, before we go, a lot of people who know your story and saw the documentary, they just want to know how you're doing. How are you, and what's the future look for you? How are you doing, Jan?
I'm doing great, and I'm very excited because we've signed the papers to do a 10-part scripted series on my story, so I can tell the full story.
Bravo. Jan, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Really appreciate it, and I'm telling you right now, you are saving lives. Thanks so much. We'll be right back.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Verify here with your fast fact. The White House is making a push to vaccinate 70% of Americans by Independence Day. Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff tweeted that you can get a free ride and childcare for a vaccine appointment. So let's verify. Can you get free transportation and childcare to get vaccinated? Our sources are rideshare companies Lyft and Uber, the Centers for Disease Control, and the YMCA. In May, Lyft and Uber announced they'll give anyone a round-trip ride to a vaccine site in any city they serve. It's a partnership with the White House to help remove barriers that could stop someone from getting vaccinated. Another hurdle is childcare. The CDC has a list of providers who will watch your kids for a few hours, including the YMCA's in more than 500 communities, for free while you get your shot. So we can verify it's true. You can get free transportation and childcare to get vaccinated. Many of the programs end July 4th. With your Fast Fact, I'm Brandon Lewis.
After 4 bloody years, the Union defeated the Confederacy to win the Civil War and abolish slavery in April 1865. There were nearly 4 million slaves in the U.S. at that time. Union armies began marching through the southern states, freeing thousands of slaves each day. The news took months to reach Texas, the westernmost state in the Confederacy. On June 19, 1865, Major General Gordon Granger and 2,000 Union troops rode into Galveston, Texas, and told slaves of their freedom. The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves. Granger's words spread through Texas. All at once, slaves found out the war was over and they were free. Their joyous, spontaneous celebration gave birth to Juneteenth. Juneteenth, a combination of the words June and 19th, commemorates when the last enslaved people in the South were finally set free. Many slaves were met with violence, even death, when they tried to leave. Yet the promise of freedom extinguished fear and fueled generations of indestructible people. Former slaves gathered on Juneteenth the next year, and the year after that. And over the decades, Black communities observed the holiday with festive family gatherings, colorful parades, and bountiful barbecues. Texas became the first state to make Juneteenth an official holiday in 1980, and since, all but 3 states recognize Juneteenth as a holiday. While it is not a federal holiday in the U.S., following the summer of protests in the wake of George Floyd's murder in 2020, private companies have made Juneteenth a permanent paid holiday for their employees. Juneteenth is a celebration of independence, the day all Americans were truly free.
Next week on DBL, Matthew McConaughey is joining us live. We're talking about his new book, Father's Day, and if he's feeling all right, huh? Plus Martin Sheen, Fran Drescher, and basketball legend Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Don't miss a day next week only on DBL. So good. Before we go, check out this super sweet viral video. A North Carolina principal bids his graduating seniors farewell with the song. Here's his rendition of the very easy Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You.
And
He keeps going, hits all the part, you know, the hard parts. Amazing.
Who was that for? Was that for himself a little bit?
No!
Listen, if I could sing like that, I would just belt it out right now for no reason.
I think that's how Lindsay should take us out of every show. Just like, I will always love you every show.
Me, I'm the worst singer on the panel.
You haven't heard me. But yeah, that was amazing.
I go to toe-to-toe with you rapping Will Smith. That's about it.
If anyone can belt a song, is there any song anyone here can belt?
Let's hear it.
No.
Come on, Tori.
Summertime and the living's. DBL is new every day. We'll see you Monday, same time, same place.
That's what you wanted the whole time.
Dominoes, your daytime destination.
Fully agree with this.
We're chatting with the stars.
Have you checked in on Lori Loughlin?
You must have read my mind.
I've never felt better or been in a better place in my life.
I think the director yelled cut.
And talking about what everyone is talking about.
It's a real thing.
And I thought it was great.
I'm here for it.
Why is anybody surprised?
I tell you what, polarizing for sure.
DBL is all new every day.
About today on Daily Blast Live.
Jeffrey Toobin returns to TV after his Zoom scandal.
I am trying to become the kind of person that people can trust again.
Should he be allowed back on air? A woman is kidnapped as a child twice by the same person. Now, she's sharing her unbelievable true story.
And it's not by a scary stranger that looks weird. It's by somebody that looks like your best friend.
Love him or hate him, it's the end of a reality TV era. After 20 seasons, the Kardashians say goodbye. And is David Arquette ready to spill Scream 5 secrets?
Oh, man.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
Oh man, this is such a good crew. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Friday. We made it, everybody.
Yes,
June
we made
11th.
it.
I'm Tori in for Sam today. We have Jeff, Al, and Lindsay. It's lovely to see you all.
What's going on?
Squad.
Thank
You started today's show much more calm. I know they were getting on your case earlier this week.
I let it go like a water off a duck. Is that what you say?
Water off a duck's back.
That's what I said.
Well, see, you just ruined it.
Yeah.
I'm on the right foot.
All right, let's talk about cancel culture on the show. We often talk about it and if people can come back from being canceled and when they should be allowed back. So, if you can recall, this is Jeffrey Toobin, and he got in serious trouble last fall. He was on a work Zoom call when he was seen by his coworkers doing some very inappropriate things of a sexual nature, and as a result, he was fired from the New Yorker magazine and suspended from his job as a legal analyst on CNN. But yesterday, he made a return to the network, and here's what Jeffrey Toobin himself explained about the situation.
This was deeply moronic and indefensible, but I mean that is part of that is part of the story. And you know, I have spent the 7 subsequent months, miserable months in my life, I can certainly confess, trying to be a better person. I mean, in therapy, trying to do some public service, working in a food bank, which I certainly am going to continue to do.
Food bank? Okay.
I think he was working at a different kind of bank.
Yeah, okay. Wait, you bad. All right, what do you think about Jeffrey's return on CNN?
Weird.
Should he be allowed back? We're all laughing and stuff, but I was shocked that CNN allowed this person back into their fold after what happened. There are a lot of good legal analysts. I didn't think Jeffrey Toobin was that good, that he could have done what he did, gotten away with it on work hours, and still be okay to just be there. I was shocked.
I'll start because we talked a little bit about this before we started. So I would be a hypocrite if I said that this man didn't have a path back, right? Because I always want people to have a path back. We were kind of giggling at this. I think this is a little bit different than the usual cancel culture. I'm trying to balance this panel out here because I know where you guys are going to go. But
do you think he should have been returned?
I just don't know if he brings enough to CNN to be like, hey man, here's you're coming back. I don't mind if he gets another job, but a place at the same table. Right. I don't know. But I want him to have a path back.
So on the one hand, his call that he was doing inappropriate things on was for the New Yorker. It was a Zoom call for them and not for CNN. And so that's like his side job, firing you for something you do at your day-to-day job. And so still, it's just like, what is the protocol? As somebody who's grown, you understand that even if you just got off a work call during work hours where you are working or writing or whatever you're doing, why are you doing inappropriate things during that time? And he's an adult. And so it's just like, who do we let back? Who do we not let back? Right. Some people have really egregious acts where they say racist stuff. And then even if you let them back or give them a path to redemption, there are organizations specifically laid out that they can meet with to learn more and do better. With him, I don't really know how a food bank is going to help out. Yeah, I wasn't understanding the connection.
No, I didn't understand that.
Al, can you help us out?
Lindsay, I think you hit it on the head when you were like, I think that he's in a place where he didn't do anything so egregious that he can't come back. He did something super embarrassing.
Dude, I think it's super egregious.
Look, it could be considered in some circles sexual assault, almost like, you know, if you were doing that, you know, in somebody's window, like a peeping Tom. So if somebody at CNN was like, this is triggering for me, I cannot work with this person, I don't think we'd be having this conversation. But I think everybody was like, this is somebody we've worked with for years, no matter how we feel about them. We don't really care about legal analysts. I don't think anybody's a fan of any of them. But, you know, like, so they're not so famous. So I think that they're like, this is somebody we like and trust. They did something embarrassing. I don't want to see his whole career come down because, I mean, this will follow him forever.
Okay. Well, I think he should have been let go and not returned, and they should have hired someone else. I really do.
But do you think there's a path back for any of these
Absolutely.
things?
I agree with you. Have another job. Find another job. Absolutely.
He was fired from his full-time job, though. We have to remember this is like his side job. So he was fired from the New Yorker, and that's a done, finalized deal with CNN.
I just don't know why bring someone back with that did that. They would never do that if anyone did that in the actual office.
Instead of saying food bank, why don't you play the I'm a sex addict card?
That's what I was
Al
thinking.
said the same thing.
Because that's an excuse
Same
for everything.
thing.
I understand that there are sex addicts out there. We differ about that all the time. But just play that card.
That's what I thought he was going to do.
Yeah, interesting. Let us know what you think.
With the food
All
bank.
right, this food bank. All right, if you're getting pulled over, do you pull over right away? This is going to be interesting. Answer me to the TV because I bet some of you are saying something different. Or do you wait until a safe spot to do it? That's the question. After this happened, a state trooper in Arkansas is being sued. He was pulling over a pregnant woman for speeding, and when she didn't pull over after a few minutes, he pulled a pit maneuver, which ended up flipping her car over. The trooper said she should have pulled over right away. Meantime, she says she was waiting until an exit came because the shoulder was too narrow. So what do you think of what the trooper did? I looked up Arkansas law. You are actually allowed, if you're uncomfortable, to put your hazards on if you don't feel comfortable. She did that and acknowledged the police officer and say, I'll get off when I feel comfortable. He absolutely broke the protocol in this term, and she thought she had lost the baby at one point. So horrible take. You're pregnant at the moment. How do you feel?
Well, even before I was pregnant, I feel nervous when the police lights go on around me, whether they're for me. I just get nervous, and because I don't know what to do. Like, I'm not like the most organized in like rushed moments, and so I wouldn't pull over right away either. But for him to kind of look like he like knocked her off the road when she followed all the rules, put on her hazards. I know as a pregnant lady looking at this shoulder and knowing how many accidents occur from being a local news reporter with people that pull over on the shoulder and get hit, or their car gets hit, or they get hurt. I wouldn't pull over pregnant on that busy highway either. So I'm not blaming her, and I think she has a lawsuit on her hands.
She has a good lawsuit. What do you think, Jeff?
I also get nervous too when the cops are behind me. I'm like, do I have cocaine in this
I
truck?
know,
Yeah,
right? You're not doing anything. You're just like,
Did
I kill someone? I don't know. I think I did.
I think that's a normal reaction. But having seen that video, and she said it was a little narrow, it did look a little narrow if we run that back a little bit. It looked a little narrow. And I do watch a lot of police shows, right? And this is like an extreme to make a pit maneuver. And it seemed like he did this pretty quickly. I'm not speaking for the police department. I don't know the protocol there. But when I watch those shows, they're like, you know what? There's too many people around. Don't do that maneuver. And they'll tell them back, like, don't do that. So for him to pull this maneuver, I would like to hear his side of the story, why he thought they were in such danger or danger to the road.
Yeah, because she was going 10, 15 miles over the speed limit is why he pulled her over.
So I'd like to hear the other side and see why he did that and so quickly.
Yeah, just really quickly, I think this is best case scenario that we're talking about. She cut across 3 lanes of traffic. We saw cars going by after she was flipped, so she could have been hit. Somebody else could have been killed. This could have been a double, triple vehicular homicide. So I mean, the fact that he decided to do that, I really question that.
Yeah.
It did not seem like she was posing an imminent threat. And like you said, with the police chases, when they're chasing somebody that's running from a bank, sometimes they'll back off because they're going into a civilian area. So the fact that this is kind of desolate, I don't know why he did that, but the lawyers will figure that out.
Yeah, I think we have a winner on our hands. All right, well, coming up on DBL, is David Arquette ready to spill any secrets from the upcoming Scream 5 movie? We're asking him. It's a hilarious interview you can't wait to see. And later, a woman is sharing her story of being kidnapped not once, but twice when she was a child by the same man. How could this have happened? And next, Dr. Paul Coley explains.
She talked to me.
No, you're not a doctor.
She asked me for help on this one.
No, they didn't. Dr. Paul Coley explains the new Delta variant. Have you heard of it? Well, we got it. Don't miss this. Coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by
Greatest game ever invented. My great-great-great-great-grandfather learned the game from the Chinese.
You can rock these bones, you can start a cult.
Dominoes, Battle of the Phones.
Yeah.
It's such a fun movie. I mean, Barron's incredible. First-time director, he did a great job. Wrote the script with his friends, the whole group put together this amazing movie. Just so many talented people in it. It's so much fun.
Becoming a new mom is tough, made even harder during a pandemic, and now it appears mental health issues for new moms are on the rise. Let's connect the dots. A new report out of Canada says mental health visits during the postpartum period were up 30% compared to before the pandemic. Reports of anxiety and depression for new moms were up 39%, and reports of substance abuse issues for that group were up as well. One interesting finding in the report was women who lived in less populated areas reported more normal levels of mental health issues starting in the summer. Researchers think that's because COVID cases in those areas in Canada started to fall around that time, allowing for less social distancing, more in-person school, and in-person dining. Mental health experts point out that social support can be crucial for new parents, especially new moms. The pandemic cut many people off that social network and added to the stress of protecting a brand new baby. All this making a tough time even tougher.
Welcome back to DBL. We have Dr. Payal Kohli joining us. We have a couple of questions about a new variant and other issues. Welcome, Dr. Kohli. Welcome to the table. You look great in blue, as always. Millions of Americans have been vaccinated. The numbers have slowed down, yes. But, Doc, the 3 vaccines in circulation are FDA approved for, quote, emergency approval. And I want to know the difference between that and full FDA approval. And do you think more people will get it once it's fully FDA approved?
So, you know, Tori, psychologically, certainly I think more people are going to get it once it has full approval. But I'm glad you asked me this question, because if you look at the difference between emergency use authorization, which is something the FDA can do during public health emergencies, and full approval, there are no shortcuts when it comes to the science. So the clinical trials are exactly the same. The research, the adverse events, the shortcut really occurs in the administrative piece of it and the manufacturing. So they basically start making the vaccine even before it's approved, which is how you save the time. So rest assured that even under EUA, all the science is robust, all the phases of the clinical trials were done.
That is very good information.
That's reassuring.
Yeah.
Now, Doc, we've spoken about variants before, and now I'm starting to hear about this Delta variant, which makes me very uncomfortable. Can you explain what it is and make me feel comfortable?
Well, I'm not sure. Well, you're vaccinated, so you may feel comfortable because the vaccines do protect against this variant. But Al, this is really a super variant, is what I like to call it. And it's thought to be largely responsible for all the cases in India, the way that the virus is spreading there. And it's also now become dominant in the United Kingdom. And here in the US, 6% of cases now are due to the Delta variant. And this variant is really a super variant in the sense that it can evade the immune system, and it's much more contagious. By far the most contagious variant we've had so far. But as I said before, the vaccines work, so I think you guys know what I'm going to say. Go out and get that vaccine if you haven't already.
Absolutely. Hey, Doc, there's recent news that 2 fully vaccinated and asymptomatic passengers on a Celebrity Millennium cruise tested positive for COVID-19. Now, they only found out because of required testing. So how do you react to this situation, Doc?
Yeah, I heard this. So I have to say I'm not surprised because we know that no vaccine is 100% effective, and there are going to be some breakthrough cases even in fully vaccinated people. But Jeff, I think two important lessons from this. The first is that even if you're fully vaccinated, remember to keep your guard up, as I always say, because there's still a chance you could catch an infection, even though, as in this case, it's likely to be milder. But the second and more important one, Jeff, I think is a public health message, really, which is that we should still be testing. Even as more of us get vaccinated, I don't want tests to go away because that's how we're really going to pick up a lot of these cases that are less symptomatic.
So, Dr. Coley, just yesterday, the CDC announced that it will hold an emergency meeting next week because of reports that teenage boys are having heart inflammation after the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine. So can you unpack that for us?
Yeah, so a lot of different things, Lindsay, to unpack over there. So we're just really trying to figure out, is the vaccine causing this complication or is it just associated? And unfortunately, in this case, it's starting to look more and more likely that the vaccine is actually causing this complication because of a few clues that we're seeing. The first is that it's occurring soon after people receive the vaccine. The second is that it's clustering in a similar demographic, so it's really occurring in young males. And then the third is that the rate of myocarditis or inflammation of the heart muscle that's occurring is higher than the background rate. So we think it's a real signal. The CDC is meeting next week to see what to make of it. But I want to remind everybody it's really, really rare. Less than 0.002%. So even though it might be real, of course, the risk of this complication is far less than the risk from the virus itself. So go and get your teenagers vaccinated. Al, what do you think about this? You've got some teenagers.
Well,
does this worry you?
It absolutely does. I mean, both my teenagers are vaccinated, but the youngest one, baby Ford, who's almost 7, but he's going to be baby Ford forever. He's not vaccinated. So, you know, I'm actually going to that CDC meeting next week. So
you're not
I'll report back to you guys. Yeah,
let us know how it goes.
I'm going to be there.
Dude, Dr. Coley, I apologize again.
Report back to us, Dr. Jackson.
He's not Dr. Jackson. I hate this.
I'm going with Dr. He's wearing a white coat.
Oh, I'm so irritated. Thank you, doctor, so much. David Arquette and Baron Davis are coming up next. Again, no medical degree
Dr.
whatsoever.
Jackson.
Oh, God. Thanks, Doc.
This one.
DBL is your daytime destination.
Fully agree with this.
We're chatting with the stars.
Have you checked in on Lori Loughlin?
You must have read my mind.
I've never felt better or been in a better place in my life.
I think the director yelled cut.
And talking about what everyone is talking about.
It's a real thing.
And I thought it was great.
I'm here for it.
Why is anybody surprised? I tell you what, polarizing for sure.
DBL is all new every day.
When the world went into quarantine for coronavirus, frivolous footwear got shoved into the back of the closet. Crocs and Birkenstocks made a comeback as many of us chose comfort over looks. But with more people returning to work and traveling, heels are once again flying off shelves. The head of the Footwear Distributors and Retailers of America told the New York Times he's seeing a noticeable increase in the sale of dress shoes and that there is real concern over whether there will be enough supply for all of that demand. Makes sense since Google searches for high heels have spiked higher than a pair of stilettos in recent weeks, and people aren't just looking for any old heels. Designer footwear is in high demand. In fact, Manolo Blahnik, made famous by the patron saint of high heels, Carrie Bradshaw, announced it's bringing back its 5-inch heels, something the company hasn't sold in several years. It's a sign that as we hopefully return to normal, we will once again sacrifice comfort for a splash of style. Connecting the dots, I'm Rekha Muttaraj.
Dominoes, the greatest game ever invented. My great-great-great-great-grandfather learned the game from the Chinese. Then he smuggled it back to America, where it spread like on ribs.
Welcome back to DBL. That was a clip from the film Domino, Battle of the Bones. And earlier we caught up with actor David Arquette and director Baron Davis to talk about it and all things Domino. Check out this truly hilarious Chatting with the Stars.
David
David Arquette and Baron Davis, welcome to DBL. It is such a pleasure to have you on, and we're going to get to your new movie, which sounds amazing. But first, David, one of your famous roles is Sheriff Dewey Riley from the Scream franchise, and you are starring in the upcoming 5th film. So is there any like insider info you can give us about the movie, like who did it?
No, I can't talk about it at all. But I can't talk about Dominoes, Battle of the Bones.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Oh, man, it's such a fun movie. I mean, Baron's incredible. First-time director. He did a great job. Wrote the script with his friends. The whole group put together this amazing movie. Just so many talented people in it. It's so much fun.
Baron, like David said, this is your first time directing. So how'd you make that transition from basketball into Hollywood?
For me, I think, I was kind of like somebody, they call him a gym rat in basketball. I guess in film, you would call him like a production rat. So I would just hang around, commercials and things like that. And then I got lucky, I had a bunch of friends kind of pick it outside of David Arquette's house and be like, sign up to support the movement.
I like it.
Yeah, I made that crossover from the NFL to TV in Hollywood. The biggest struggle has been the teleprompter, so bear with me on this one, fellas. And David, you're actually an athlete as well. I mean, you're a pro wrestler, so I want to know, which job do you enjoy most, acting or wrestling? And would you fight one of the Paul brothers? Ooh.
Oh, man. Wrestling hurts. That's just. I think I'm done with all that. I'll stick to playing dominoes now. But the Paul brothers, I don't know. It's been crazy seeing all that. It's fun to watch.
I just want that to be your promo. It's fun to watch.
Let's face it. You really just want to see the guys get punched.
Totally. All right, let's get to Domino, Battle of the Bones. Okay, now this is a comedy about a black man who teams up with his awkward white grandson to defeat his rival in a domino tournament. First, I've got to ask you, Baron, why dominoes? Talk to me.
I wanted to tell these stories of people that I watched growing up that I thought were funny and hilarious. And that's why I put it in, that's why I wrote this movie.
You guys mentioned Snoop's in the movie and everybody loves Snoop, but I want to know, David, not acting, just in a true game of bones between you and Snoop, who would win and why?
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Ooh.
Oh, man, I'm sure Snoop's got the experience. So I would just hope I drew some lucky bones and figure it out.
That's a pay-per-view I pay for.
Snoop has a match.
I had a public Los Angeles high school education, so my math skills are not the best.
Baron, how about you versus Snoop, Baron? Who would win that?
Oh, I would definitely win. I haven't lost. I wrote the movie because I ain't never really lost a game of dominoes that I can remember. And my family, my great ancestors, they actually put the black dots on the tile to create dominoes.
Wow. Unbelievable. I really want David.
You know what? The only reason he's never lost is because when it gets down to the last couple bones, it's like, oh, you see that over there? Game never ends.
You think you could slam your dominoes down?
And I can talk smack like he said?
How would you slam down your dominoes?
Yeah.
I would say this. Abracadabra, this.
You can practice on the Dominoes Battle of the Bones.
You're amazing, guys. Thank you so much. David and Baron, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for chatting about your new movie. Don't forget to catch Domino, Battle of Bones, out in theaters right now. Such a pleasure. We'll be right back. Bye, gentlemen.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Verify here with your fast fact. The White House is making a push to vaccinate 70% of Americans by Independence Day. Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff tweeted that you can get a free ride and childcare for a vaccine appointment. So let's verify. Can you get free transportation and childcare to get vaccinated? Our sources are rideshare companies Lyft and Uber, the Centers for Disease Control, and the YMCA. In May, Lyft and Uber announced they'll give anyone a round-trip ride to a vaccine site in any city they serve. It's a partnership with the White House to help remove barriers that could stop someone from getting vaccinated. Another hurdle is childcare. The CDC has a list of providers who will watch your kids for a few hours, including the YMCAs in more than 500 communities, for free while you get your shot. So we can verify it's true. You can get free transportation and childcare to get vaccinated. Many of the programs end July 4th. With your Fast Fact, I'm Brandon Lewis.
After 4 bloody years, the Union defeated the Confederacy to win the Civil War and abolish slavery in April 1865. There were nearly 4 million slaves in the U.S. at that time. Union armies began marching through the southern states, freeing thousands of slaves each day. The news took months to reach Texas, the westernmost state in the Confederacy. On June 19, 1865, Major General Gordon Granger and 2,000 Union troops rode into Galveston, Texas, and told slaves of their freedom. The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves. Granger's words spread through Texas. All at once, slaves found out the war was over and they were free. Their joyous, spontaneous celebration gave birth to Juneteenth. Juneteenth, a combination of the words June and 19th, commemorates when the last enslaved people in the South were finally set free. Many slaves were met with violence, even death, when they tried to leave. Yet the promise of freedom extinguished fear and fueled generations of indestructible people. Former slaves gathered on Juneteenth the next year, and the year after that. And over the decades, Black communities observed the holiday with festive family gatherings, colorful parades, and bountiful barbecues. Texas became the first state to make Juneteenth an official holiday in 1980, and since, all but 3 states recognize Juneteenth as a holiday. While it is not a federal holiday in the U.S., following the summer of protests in the wake of George Floyd's murder in 2020, private companies have made Juneteenth a permanent paid holiday for their employees. Juneteenth is a celebration of independence, the day all Americans were truly free.
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments, and a lot of you wrote in about the trooper. Sydney Roberts on Facebook said, they used to say turn on your flashers and proceed slowly until you get to a safe location. Has that changed? The answer, Sydney, is no, and the woman did proceed to put on her hazards, so interesting that he still pitted her. Lisa says, I would actually call 911. Would anyone do that to make sure that it's legit and say that officer is making me feel unsafe?
Call the police on the police.
You think to do that.
I think a lot's going through your mind.
Yeah. And finally says, I put my hazards and drive home or a safe place with people around. Police know when hazards are on to follow till the individual they are following is comfortable to stop.
Because that can happen somewhere that's not a highway. You can just feel unsafe in a dark area, and you're allowed to keep driving.
Where there's lit area, right? Interesting.
That's the opposite of dark.
Oh my God, I can't stand you. If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube. You can chat with other viewers. You can leave your comments and be part of DBL Nation. But if you are sticking around, here's what's coming up. Imagine being kidnapped twice and surviving that ordeal to tell all about it. One woman is sharing her unbelievably true story. And just like that, it's all over. The finale of Keeping Up with the Kardashians aired last night. So what's next for the famous family? And a big thank you to our coworkers watching from home. DBL's new every day. We'll be right back. is your daytime destination.
Fully agree with this.
We're chatting with the stars.
Have you checked in on Lori Loughlin?
You must have read my mind.
I've never felt better or been in a better place in my life.
I think the director yelled cut.
And talking about what everyone is talking about.
It's a real thing.
And I thought it was great.
I'm here for it.
Why is anybody surprised?
I tell you what, polarizing for sure.
DBL is all new every day.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Thank you, David. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. I'm Tori. I'm in for Sam today, and I'm here with Jeff, Al, and Lindsay, and we're having a pretty good Friday.
We are.
Aren't we? Huh? Friends?
Jeff, Al, and Lindsay?
Al. I said Al.
Yeah,
I heard
you said all.
All right, well, it's Al. Officially, it's the end of an era. It is the last episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and it aired last night. Now, the family started the show back in 2007. 20 seasons, many babies, and a few divorces later, the Kardashians have become a household name. They ended the run by reflecting on the past and putting items like Kim's first signature fragrance and Kris's momager license in a time capsule. The Kardashians have come a long way. Back then, Kris started the reality show to be like another famous family, the Osbournes. Y'all remember that?
I remember.
Take a look at this tweet from the E! Network, looking at where they started and how it's going today. Kylie was 9. Wow.
Crazy.
Now she's a mom running a multi-million-dollar cosmetics brand. Kendall was 11. Now she's a supermodel. Khloe was 23, single, and the family wild child. Now she's a mama. And Kim was best known as Paris Hilton's assistant. Now she's a mama 4, going through her 3rd divorce and studying to be an attorney. All right. First of all, I love the Kardashians. I've stood up for them since day one. At the auditions, I stood up for the Kardashians. Very happy for their run. Not many people in TV do it.
No, I mean, they built an empire. You say what you want about them. They're in the news every day. They built an empire, and there's proof.
And
it's
they were
all on
consistent,
video.
exactly.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, Lindsay, what were you doing back in 2007?
So I found the dweebiest picture. I was actually studying abroad in London.
Of course you were.
And that's the picture.
Wow.
And so that's where I was.
Oh my goodness.
And now I'm about to have a baby, like
Yay!
tomorrow.
Oh, that's
so things have changed, but I was excited to be studying abroad. And I actually sent another picture because I was reading the Financial Times every day because I thought I wanted to be a financial journalist. So I was interning at Merrill Lynch at the time. So that changed also.
You look like you wanted to paint pictures of people in front of the Eiffel Tower. That's what you look like.
I was trying to be like, this is a trip we took to Paris. I was trying to be like Parisian, and it was a fail with that.
No, that's
the beret works.
Yeah, it was a doofy. It was a doofy wannabe.
It was good.
Super cute.
Albert, what were you doing? Were you, you were 30, right? Back in 2007?
Wow.
Just kidding. I'm just
And
kidding.
I was. I was a middle school teacher in my late 20s, just starting to do stand-up a little bit and kind of just starting to get the idea that maybe I might want to do this professionally, but that was me. I was probably drunk inside of a 7-Eleven.
Too cool to smile.
No, I think I was just in there with my friend trying on sunglasses before I'm sure we were asked to leave. But yeah, I used to have fun. It was like, I was living in Miami at the time. It was like the Wild West. You just had fun. There was no social media. I just enjoyed my life down there.
And now you're like this sober, strong dad, great co-host. How do you feel about yourself now?
Boring.
Wow.
No,
And he doesn't want to do anything.
Yeah, no, I love it. I'm happy.
That's fantastic.
How about you, Tori? What were you doing?
I was trying to make it. Here's Stop It Bird. This is my headshot.
Look at that
I'm making
smize.
it.
You got a smize going on.
I smize, and you're in front of a rustic door, so you could be on Law and Order. You know what I mean? You have to take those certain headshots to make you look like you could do whatever you want.
That was a good picture of
think?
you, yeah.
I got nowhere.
You have a bunch of classic photos. Even your high school photo was like very smizey and like while everybody else was a dweeb. I really appreciate it.
Oh, there's definitely some pictures that I have not shown that are dweeby, but yes. How about you? What were you doing in 2007?
First of all, I don't have a picture because I didn't know we could just send in a random picture. I thought, in the morning meeting, I was like, let's send in a picture of what we were doing, like to sum up 2007. I'm like, I don't have that. Anyways,
so you failed at your homework is what you did.
Yes, I failed at my homework. But in 2007, I was coming back from Los Angeles, a failure, back to Chicago. I kind of went through a rough little patch, and I was doing telemarketing, my old job that's for a 15-year-old, but I was 29. And my boss kind of got me on the right path. And then when I finally got my mind right, Big Brother hit when I was 31, and it's been up since then.
Wow. That's a good story, Jeff.
Yeah, you said your boss was the first person to talk to you about positivity.
Because I did fail in Los Angeles, and I had to come back with my tail between my legs, and he put me on the right path. He'd make me listen to motivation for like 4 hours a day, and then be on the phones the other 4 hours of the day. And it worked, because my success went up there, and my success went up when I was auditioning in Chicago. So it paid us both ways, but I do owe gratitude to him and my
What's his name? Give a shout out.
Dave Deeney, man.
There you go.
My mentor.
There you go.
That's
awesome.
About that stuff, yeah.
Wonderful. Look at that. Well, switching topics, we got Rebel Wilson. She's revealing the inspiration behind her dramatic weight loss. So Rebel told Shape magazine she dropped 66 pounds during her year of health, mostly due to moderate walking. She also revealed that fertility was a major factor in getting fit. She said she's turning 40 at the time and was thinking about freezing her eggs. Experts told her that the healthier she was, the better the process would go. I know all about that. I'm turning 40. People are all around me, fertilizing eggs, embryos, everything, in the best shape you are in. I know it sounds like I'm having omelets made. There's eggs everywhere. I would say that the way you take care of your body affects the way the eggs work out, and this is totally relatable to me. Lindsay?
No, there are a lot of my friends that are going through this and even struggling through this, that have just lived these lives that you talked about when you were younger, just drinking a lot, and now they're trying to like rectify all the decisions that they made, even just eating unhealthy every single day and going out too much, staying up late. And so they're just trying to make some smarter decisions. So I understand not only turning 40, whether you want kids or not, but just knowing that your metabolism's slowing down, you have some choices to make. These are real things that I'm learning, like how I'm about to lose this baby weight because I'm not 23 anymore. But it's just like real things that you think about that are like your body changes as you get older. So I understand her saying this.
I have a trainer 3 times a week for half an hour. I mean, it's nothing crazy. Let's not be real. But it's only because I can't do anything the same anymore.
Because I think this is a motivation. I think you just need motivation, right? Her motivation was she wanted to freeze her eggs in the best possible condition. Whether it be a revenge body, whether it be whatever you're looking for, you need that type of motivation to get you going. And I think that was hers.
That's a good point. What's your motivation? You work out a ton.
Al's like the biggest success story. I got to get my life together, sitting next to you. I'm like,
she's here today, our producer Patty, because I used to always be a weights guy, but like I would work out, but then when you don't eat right, you just look like an ex-bouncer. You know, like your body, you look like a failed linebacker. So I wasn't like losing the weight I wanted to. So Patty took me to Soul Cycle, and I was like, I walked in, it was like 27, young, well-to-do young women, and I was like, well, let me get done with this class. A minute in, I was like, if my feet weren't magnetically attached to these pedals, I would have just walked out. I was so tired. But after I got through the first couple classes, the weight started falling off. So starting to move a little bit, I got a bike at home, and that was what did it for me.
Wow, Soul Cycle. I remember,
out to Patty.
I was like, here's Al, he's coming, he's like, Patty, are you on seat 22? I'll be at seat 21.
Oh, we would coordinate our seats and everything.
It was so cute.
Patty, I hope you still go. I'll be there in September.
And Patty did it, and Patty is the biggest success story.
Glow up,
she's
right?
ripped. Yes.
Ripped, Patty. We love you.
Yeah.
We love you. All right. Well, it looks like Ben Affleck spending some time with Jennifer Lopez's mom. This is interesting, though. The two were spotted together in Las Vegas, where Ben's shooting a movie. Not crazy. According to Page 6, though, JLo's mom was hanging out with Ben at the Wynn Resort Casino while Ben shot his scenes. Well, it's not clear if mom is involved in the movie, but her daughter was not spotted on set. JLo and Ben have been spotted out and about since last month. It's rumored they have rekindled their romance, but neither is officially confirmed they are dating. All right, the big part of the story that I want to get to is Ben Affleck has a gambling problem. He's a gambling addict, and he's been kicked out of the Hard Rock Casino in Las Vegas, banned. So JLo's mom is actually quite a good gambler. She once won $2.4 million in Atlantic City. So people are worried.
Did Ben Affleck get kicked out because he won too much?
I'm not sure if he won or if he was becoming an addict.
Because they kick you out. An addict. They'll take everything he has. They don't kick you out for that.
Well, at some point he was banned
Jeff,
from it.
excuse me, you're losing a little bit too much money. Could you move it along?
I think his behavior might have been a problem.
His behavior might have been an issue as well, I was going to say.
I looked at it as him trying to rebond with JLo's mom, because I think they're getting serious with this.
But over a casino?
Well, that's her. That's where she feels most comfortable. So why, he's filming a movie. It's a good chance to get some points in with mom. My question to you guys, and I go back and forth with this, can you have a sustainable relationship if you don't get along with the in-laws?
I think it's going to be hard. I think the first thing you need to do is go to somebody's parents, because I know if my mom doesn't like you, she's constantly going to be in my ear. She's in my ear about what I wear on the show every day.
Yeah, she
so if she doesn't like you, she's going to be like, well, this is my opinion today, and it's just going to make it an issue every day when I go home and lay next to you. So I think that he's smart. I don't know if he would meet her at the gambling table. It's going to matter at dinner, but he chose to step out and take a chance, and obviously he's trying to get in good graces with the whole family.
Yeah, I think you got to get along. I know not a lot of people do. And
yeah, some people do have the hard.
Right, but I think it's better. It's easier, like Lindsay said, if it is. I mean, I kind of think in the back of my mind want my parents to always like the woman I was with, and they loved Jordan. It worked out great, but we could stop speculating. If you're hanging out with Jennifer Lopez's ma, you guys are back together.
Would you have stayed with Jordan if your parents were like, we're just not feeling her?
I don't know. That's a good question, man. That's
to me, it's not even worth it.
You'd think like, no, because I love that person, but it worked out great. I love her parents. My parents adore her, I think, more than me.
Yeah,
so it definitely helps.
Yeah. It turns out like you and the person against your whole family.
It's
That's how it always ends up.
It's really a tragedy because it turns out everything goes wrong. I will say in Yiddish it's called mishpucha, the families-in-laws. They all get together.
Whew. That sounds like a
Glad
dish.
you told me that.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, bring in the weekend.
Sorry. I can't stand you. Coming up on DBL, she was snatched by a family friend not once, but twice as a child. So how could this happen? Why one woman's story could help save countless children out there. And that's our DBL staff working hard at home during the pandemic. We'll see you all again soon. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by
Greatest game ever invented. My great-great-great-great-grandfather learned the game from the Chinese.
You can rock these bones, you can start a cult.
Dominoes, Battle of the Phones.
Yeah.
It's such a fun movie. I mean, Barron's incredible. First-time director, he did a great job. Wrote the script with his friends, the whole group put together this amazing movie. Just so many talented people in it. It's so much fun.
Becoming a new mom is tough, made even harder during a pandemic. And now it appears mental health issues for new moms are on the rise. Let's connect the dots. A new report out of Canada says mental health visits during the postpartum period were up 30% compared to before the pandemic. Reports of anxiety and depression for new moms were up 39%, and reports of substance abuse issues for that group were up as well. One interesting finding in the report was women who lived in less populated areas reported more normal levels of mental health issues starting in the summer. Researchers think that's because COVID cases in those areas in Canada started to fall around that time, allowing for less social distancing, more in-person school, and in-person dining. Mental health experts point out that social support can be crucial for new parents, especially new moms. The pandemic cut many people off that social network and added to the stress of protecting a brand new baby. All this making a tough time even tougher.
Welcome back to DBL. She was abducted twice, a story so unique that it's become a documentary and podcast. But Jan Broberg says the full picture still hasn't been told. Earlier, I spoke with Jan, who wants to set the record straight. But first, let's catch you up on her amazing story.
It's October 17th, 1974. The first time Jan Broberg's life changes forever. The then 12-year-old is kidnapped by her neighbor, Robert Berchtold. They head to Mexico, where Jan is legally allowed to get married. During the trip, he brainwashes her, saying she is supposed to have his baby to save an alien race. Young and innocent, Jan believes him. While crossing the U.S. border to come back home, Robert is arrested. He blames the disappearing act on his depression, and Jan defends him. Berchtold's traps had worked.
Jan Broberg and Robert Berchtold had an unnatural relationship.
I loved him as deeply as I've ever loved anyone.
Before the kidnapping, he spent years earning the Brobergs' trust. He even started a secret affair with both Jan's mom and Jan's dad. But while out on bond for kidnapping charges, the affairs become blackmail. Robert uses them to lessen the charges. He is sentenced to 5 years, but serves only 10 days. Fast forward 2 years to the summer of 1976, when Robert kidnaps Jan for a second time.
There'll never be anybody for me but Jan. Never.
The now 14-year-old still believes she is destined to have Robert's child, so she actually runs away from home. Robert enrolls her in an all-girls school in California so he can visit. Jan is eventually found by FBI agents, and Robert is arrested for kidnapping again, but he is never convicted. At age 17, Jan tells her family the truth, writing a book with her mom. Robert denies the claims, committing suicide in 2005.
When we come back, we talk to Jan. We want to set the record straight with her, and she reveals the details she says that the documentary missed. Stay with us. DBL is your daytime destination.
Fully agree with this.
We're chatting with the stars.
Have you checked in on Lori Loughlin?
You must have read my mind.
I've never felt better or been in a better place in my life.
I think the director yelled cut.
And talking about what everyone is talking about.
It's a real thing.
And I thought it was great.
I'm here for it.
Why is anybody surprised? I tell you what, polarizing for sure.
DBL is all new every day.
When the world went into quarantine for coronavirus, frivolous footwear got shoved into the back of the closet. Crocs and Birkenstocks made a comeback as many of us chose comfort over looks. But with more people returning to work and traveling, heels are once again flying off shelves. The head of the Footwear Distributors and Retailers of America told the New York Times he's seeing a noticeable increase in the sale of dress shoes and that there is real concern over whether there will be enough supply for all of that demand. Makes sense since Google searches for high heels have spiked higher than a pair of stilettos in recent weeks, and people aren't just looking for any old heels. Designer footwear is in high demand. In fact, Manolo Blahnik, made famous by the patron saint of high heels, Carrie Bradshaw, announced it's bringing back its 5-inch heels, something the company hasn't sold in several years. It's a sign that as we hopefully return to normal, we will once again sacrifice comfort for a splash of style. Connecting the dots, I'm Rekha Muttaraj.
Welcome back to DBL. We just told you the story of Jan Broberg, a woman who was abducted twice as a child. Well, earlier I spoke with Jan to get the details she says her Netflix documentary got wrong. Take a look at this. Jan Broberg joins us now. Thank you, Jan, first off, for taking the time out of your day to be here on the show. So many people wonder why your parents never took any legal action once you told them the truth. Do you wish that they had, or are you happy with their decision?
Well, they didn't know until I was 17 years old and he was long gone.
Right.
At that point, you really don't know what to do. You've gone on with your life. Everybody wants to put it behind them. This is very common even today, that people don't go back and find the person. He wasn't married to his wife anymore. She had divorced him. He had moved around, didn't really know where he was. And I didn't want to talk about it anymore. I wanted to be done. I was heading off to college, and it really wasn't until my early to mid-20s that I really started to explore what had happened and write about it and call my parents and ask them questions and you know, why didn't you know? How couldn't you see it? You know, all those things that I went through. But it was very short-lived because I had parents that listened to me, loved me unconditionally, and I was one of those lucky ones that it wasn't in my family. It wasn't one of them. They were innocent too. They've been manipulated and brainwashed as well.
I want to ask about that, Jan. Talk to me about what you call, and which is so true, the grooming process of not just you, but your whole family.
So the grooming process is as simple as becoming friends with a family. I mean, that grooming was all about picking the kids up and taking them to school and talk to my mom, you know, while she's doing the breakfast dishes at the kitchen sink, or go get my dad and, hey, let's go to lunch. And those were all ways of grooming and manipulating somebody.
I wanted to ask you, you don't seem to have a lot of anger towards your family and your parents. You seem to really forgive, respect, and love them. Talk to me about how that misconception is out there.
Yeah, that was really hard for me because the first time I saw the documentary, I was like, this isn't who my parents are. My parents made mistakes like most human beings do throughout the course of their life. They make a mistake. They do something that they regret, that they wish they hadn't done. But my parents were completely innocent. I had 12 perfect childhood years. If it was a red flag, my wonderful parents would have shut it down, put him in jail, or done whatever they had to do, but they didn't know because it's so not obvious. They're so very sly.
That's why he's
successful. That was really hard.
Let me say I have that feeling with my family, that weird intuition, right? That ripple that you feel. What should I do, Jan, if I feel that?
This is really good because I've spoken to a number of police departments and I've gotten feedback from them, and what they told me is the most important thing is to keep a record. Like on this day, at this time of day, when this was happening, I had this gut ripple, or, you know, I call it that little wave that goes through your gut for just a second. But they said if you keep a record, that the pattern will start to emerge, and even if it's only 3 or 4 things that you write down, you should file it, go to the police department and start a file.
Right, so make sure you document, journal, take the dates down. And I got to be honest with you, you're saving lives by telling people right now to listen to that wave of intuition. Literally, you're saving lives. Now, before we go, a lot of people who know your story and saw the documentary, they just want to know how you're doing. How are you, and what's the future look for you? How are you doing, Jan?
I'm doing great, and I'm very excited because we've signed the papers to do a 10-part scripted series on my story, so I can tell the full story.
Bravo. Jan, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Really appreciate it, and I'm telling you right now, you are saving lives. Thanks so much. We'll be right back.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Verify here with your fast fact. The White House is making a push to vaccinate 70% of Americans by Independence Day. Second gentleman Doug Emhoff tweeted that you can get a free ride and childcare for a vaccine appointment. So let's verify. Can you get free transportation and childcare to get vaccinated? Our sources are rideshare companies Lyft and Uber, the Centers for Disease Control, and the YMCA. In May, Lyft and Uber announced they'll give anyone a round-trip ride to a vaccine site in any city they serve. It's a partnership with the White House to help remove barriers that could stop someone from getting vaccinated. Another hurdle is childcare. The CDC has a list of providers who will watch your kids for a few hours, including the YMCAs in more than 500 communities, for free while you get your shot. So we can verify it's true. You can get free transportation and childcare to get vaccinated. Many of the programs end July 4th. With your Fast Fact, I'm Brandon Lewis.
After 4 bloody years, the Union defeated the Confederacy to win the Civil War and abolish slavery in April 1865. There were nearly 4 million slaves in the U.S. at that time. Union armies began marching through the southern states, freeing thousands of slaves each day. The news took months to reach Texas, the westernmost state in the Confederacy. On June 19, 1865, Major General Gordon Granger and 2,000 Union troops rode into Galveston, Texas, and told slaves of their freedom. The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves. Granger's words spread through Texas. All at once, slaves found out the war was over and they were free. Their joyous, spontaneous celebration gave birth to Juneteenth. Juneteenth, a combination of the words June and 19th, commemorates when the last enslaved people in the South were finally set free. Many slaves were met with violence, even death, when they tried to leave. Yet the promise of freedom extinguished fear and fueled generations of indestructible people. Former slaves gathered on Juneteenth the next year, and the year after that. And over the decades, Black communities observed the holiday with festive family gatherings, colorful parades, and bountiful barbecues. Texas became the first state to make Juneteenth an official holiday in 1980, and since, all but 3 states recognize Juneteenth as a holiday. While it is not a federal holiday in the U.S., following the summer of protests in the wake of George Floyd's murder in 2020, private companies have made Juneteenth a permanent paid holiday for their employees. Juneteenth is a celebration of independence, the day all Americans were truly free.
Next week on DBL, Matthew McConaughey is joining us live. We're talking about his new book, Father's Day, and if he's feeling all right, huh? Plus Martin Sheen, Fran Drescher, and basketball legend Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Don't miss a day next week only on DBL. So good. Before we go, check out this super sweet viral video. A North Carolina principal bids his graduating seniors farewell with the song. Here's his rendition of the very easy Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You.
And I will always love you.
He keeps going, hits all the part, the hard parts. Amazing.
Who was that for? Was that for himself a little bit?
No.
Listen, if I could sing like that, I would just belt it out right now for no reason.
I think that's how Lindsay should take us out of every show. Just like, I will always love you every show.
Me, I'm the worst singer on the panel.
You haven't heard me. But yeah, that was amazing.
I go toe-to-toe with you rapping Will Smith. That's about it.
If anyone can belt a song, is there any song anyone here can belt?
Let's hear it.
No.
Come on, Tori.
Summertime and the living's. DBL is new every day. We'll see you Monday, same time, same place.
That's what you wanted the whole time.
DBL is your daytime destination.
Fully agree with this.
We're chatting with the stars.
Have you checked in on Lori Loughlin?
You must have read my mind.
I've never felt better or been in a better place in my life.
I think the director yelled cut.
And talking about what everyone is talking about.
It's a real thing.
And I thought it was great.
I'm here for it.
Why is anybody surprised? I tell you what, polarizing for sure.
DBL is all new every day.
Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
Jeffrey Toobin returns to TV after his Zoom scandal.
I am trying to become the kind of person that people can trust again.
Should he be allowed back on air? A woman is kidnapped as a child twice by the same person. Now, she's sharing her unbelievable true story.
And it's not by a scary stranger that looks weird. It's by somebody that looks like your best friend.
Love him or hate him, it's the end of a reality TV era. After 20 seasons, the Kardashians say goodbye. And is David Arquette ready to spill Scream 5 secrets?
Oh, man.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
Oh man, this is such a good crew. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Friday. We made it, everybody.
Yes,
June
we made
11th.
it.
I'm Tori in for Sam today. We have Jeff, Al, and Lindsay. It's lovely to see you all.
What's going on?
Squad.
Thank
Look, you started today's show much more calm. I know they were getting on your case earlier this week.
I let it go like a water off a duck. Is that what you say?
Water off a duck's back.
That's what I said. All right.
Well, see, you just ruined it.
Yeah.
Keep on the right foot.
All right, let's talk about cancel culture on the show. We often talk about it and if people can come back from being canceled and when they should be allowed back. So, if you can recall, this is Jeffrey Toobin, and he got in serious trouble last fall. He was on a work Zoom call when he was seen by his coworkers doing some very inappropriate things of a sexual nature, and as a result, he was fired from the New Yorker magazine and suspended from his job as a legal analyst on CNN. But yesterday, he made a return to the network, and here's what Jeffrey Toobin himself explained about the situation.
This was deeply moronic and indefensible, but I mean that is part of the story. And you know, I have spent the 7 subsequent months, miserable months in my life, I can certainly confess, trying to be a better person. I mean, in therapy, trying to do some public service, working in a food bank, which I certainly am going to continue to do.
Food bank? Okay.
I think he was working at a different kind of bank.
Yeah, okay. Wait, you bad. All right, what do you think about Jeffrey's return on CNN?
Weird.
Should he be allowed back? We're all laughing and stuff, but I was shocked that CNN allowed this person back into their fold after what happened. There are a lot of good legal analysts. I didn't think Jeffrey Toobin was that good, that he could have done what he did, gotten away with it on work hours and still be okay to just be there. I was shocked.
I'll start because we talked a little bit about this before we started. So I would be a hypocrite if I said that this man didn't have a path back, right? Because I always want people to have a path back. We were kind of giggling at this. I think this is a little bit different than the usual cancel culture. I'm trying to balance this panel out here because I know where you guys are going to go. But
do you think he should have been returned?
I just don't know if he brings enough to CNN to be like, hey man, here's you're coming back. I don't mind if he gets another job, but a place at the same table. Right. I don't know. But I want him to have a path back.
So on the one hand, his call that he was doing inappropriate things on was for the New Yorker. It was a Zoom call for them and not for CNN. And so that's like his side job, firing you for something you do at your day-to-day job. And so still, it's just like, what is the protocol? As somebody who's grown, you understand that even if you just got off a work call during work hours where you are working or writing or whatever you're doing, why are you doing inappropriate things during that time? And he's an adult. And so it's just like, who do we let back? Who do we not let back? Right. Some people have really egregious acts where they say racist stuff. And then even if you let them back or give them a path to redemption, there are organizations specifically laid out that they can meet with to learn more and do better. With him, I don't really know how a food bank is going to help out. Yeah, I wasn't understanding the connection.
No, I didn't understand.
Al, can you help us out?
You know, Lindsay, I think you hit it on the head when you were like, you know, I think that he's in a place where he didn't do anything so egregious that he can't come back. He did something super embarrassing.
Dude, I think it's super egregious.
Look, it could be considered in some circles sexual assault, almost like, you know, if you were doing that, you know, in somebody's window, like a peeping Tom. So if somebody at CNN was like, this is triggering for me, I cannot work with this person, I don't think we'd be having this conversation. But I think everybody was like, this is somebody we've worked with for years, no matter how we feel about them. We don't really care about legal analysts. I don't think anybody's a fan of any of them. But, you know, like, so they're not so famous. So I think that they're like, this is somebody we like and trust. They did something embarrassing. I don't want to see his whole career come down because, I mean, this will follow him forever.
Okay. Well, I think he should have been let go and not returned, and they should have hired someone else. I really do.
But do you think there's a path back for any of these
Absolutely.
things?
I agree with you. Have another job. Find another job. Absolutely.
He was fired from his full-time job, though. We have to remember this is like his side job. So he was fired from the New Yorker, and that's a done, finalized deal with CNN.
I just don't know why bring someone back with that did that. They would never do that if anyone did that in the actual office.
Instead of saying food bank, why don't you play the I'm a sex addict card?
That's what I was
Al
thinking.
said the same thing.
That's an excuse for everything. I understand that there are sex addicts out there. We differ about that all the time, but just play that card.
That's what I thought he was going to do.
Yeah, interesting. Let us know what you think.
With the food
all right, this food bank. All right, if you're getting pulled over, do you pull over right away? This is going to be interesting. Answer me to the TV because I bet some of you are saying something different. Or do you wait until a safe spot to do it? That's the question. After this happened, a state trooper in Arkansas is being sued. He was pulling over a pregnant woman for speeding, and when she didn't pull over after a few minutes, he pulled a pit maneuver, which ended up flipping her car over. The trooper said she should have pulled over right away. Meantime, she says she was waiting until an exit came because the shoulder was too narrow. So what do you think of what the trooper did? I looked up Arkansas law. You are actually allowed, if you're uncomfortable, to put your hazards on if you don't feel comfortable. She did that and acknowledged the police officer and say, I'll get off when I feel comfortable. He absolutely broke the protocol in this term, and she thought she had lost the baby at one point. So horrible take. You're pregnant at the moment. How do you feel?
Well, even before I was pregnant, I feel nervous when the police lights go on around me, whether they're for me. I just get nervous, and because I don't know what to do. Like, I'm not like the most organized in like rushed moments, and so I wouldn't pull over right away either. But for him to kind of look like he like knocked her off the road when she followed all the rules, put on her hazards. I know as a pregnant lady looking at this shoulder and knowing how many accidents occur from being a local news reporter with people that pull over on the shoulder and get hit, or their car gets hit, or they get hurt. I wouldn't pull over pregnant on that busy highway either. So I'm not blaming her, and I think she has a lawsuit on her hands.
She has a good lawsuit. What do you think, Jeff?
I also get nervous too when the cops are behind me. I'm like, do I have cocaine in this?
I know, right? You're not doing anything. You're just like,
did
I kill someone? I don't know. I think I did.
I think it's a normal reaction. But having seen that video, and she said it was a little narrow, it did look a little narrow if we run that back a little bit. It looked a little narrow. And I do watch a lot of police shows, right? And this is like an extreme to make a pit maneuver. And it seemed like he did this pretty quickly. I'm not speaking for the police department. I don't know the protocol there. But when I watch those shows, they're like, you know what? There's too many people around. Don't do that maneuver. And they'll tell them back, like, don't do that. So for him to pull this maneuver, I would like to hear his side of the story, why he thought they were in such danger or danger to the road.
Yeah, because she was going 10, 15 miles over the speed limit is why he pulled her over.
So I'd like to hear the other side and see why he did that and so quickly.
Yeah, just really quickly, I think this is best case scenario that we're talking about. She cut across 3 lanes of traffic. We saw cars going by after she was flipped, so she could have been hit. Somebody else could have been killed. This could have been a double, triple vehicular homicide. So I mean, the fact that he decided to do that, I really question that.
Yeah.
It did not seem like she was posing an imminent threat. And like you said, with the police chases, when they're chasing somebody that's running from a bank, sometimes they'll back off because they're going into a civilian area. So the fact that this is kind of desolate, I don't know why he did that, but the lawyer will figure that out.
Yeah, I think we have a winner on our hands. All right, well, coming up on DBL, is David Arquette ready to spill any secrets from the upcoming Scream 5 movie? We're asking him. It's a hilarious interview you can't wait to see. And later, a woman is sharing her story of being kidnapped not once, but twice when she was a child by the same man. How could this have happened? And next, Dr. Paul Coley explains.
She talked to me.
No, you're not a doctor.
She
next,
asked me for help on this one.
No, they didn't. Dr. Paul Coley explains the new Delta variant. Have you heard of it? Well, we got it. Don't miss this. Coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by
Greatest game ever invented. My great-great-great-great-grandfather learned the game from the Chinese.
You can rock these bones, you can start a cult.
Dominoes, Battle of the Phones.
Yeah.
It's such a fun movie. I mean, Barron's incredible. First-time director. He did a great job. Wrote the script with his friends, the whole group put together this amazing movie. Just so many talented people in it. It's so much fun.
Becoming a new mom is tough, made even harder during a pandemic. And now it appears mental health issues for new moms are on the rise. Let's connect the dots. A new report out of Canada says mental health visits during the postpartum period were up 30% compared to before the pandemic. Reports of anxiety and depression for new moms were up 39%, and reports of substance abuse issues for that group were up as well. One interesting finding in the report was women who lived in less populated areas reported more normal levels of mental health issues starting in the summer. Researchers think that's because COVID cases in those areas in Canada started to fall around that time, allowing for less social distancing, more in-person school, and in-person dining. Mental health experts point out that social support can be crucial for new parents, especially new moms. The pandemic cut many people off that social network and added to the stress of protecting a brand new baby. All this making a tough time even tougher.
Welcome back to DBL. We have Dr. Payal Kohli joining us. We have a couple of questions about a new variant and other issues. Welcome, Dr. Kohli. Welcome to the table. You look great in blue, as always. Millions of Americans have been vaccinated. The numbers have slowed down, yes. But, Doc, the 3 vaccines in circulation are FDA approved for, quote, emergency approval. And I want to know the difference between that and full FDA approval. And do you think more people will get it once it's fully FDA approved?
So, you know, Tori, psychologically, certainly I think more people are going to get it once it has full approval. But I'm glad you asked me this question, because if you look at the difference between emergency use authorization, which is something the FDA can do during public health emergencies, and full approval, there are no shortcuts when it comes to the science. So the clinical trials are exactly the same. The research, the adverse events, the shortcut really occurs in the administrative piece of it and the manufacturing. So they basically start making the vaccine even before it's approved, which is how you save the time. So rest assured that even under EUA, all the science is robust, all the phases of the clinical trials were done.
That is very good information.
That's reassuring.
Yeah.
Now, Doc, we've spoken about variants before, and now I'm starting to hear about this Delta variant, which makes me very uncomfortable. Can you explain what it is and make me feel comfortable?
Well, I'm not sure. Well, you're vaccinated, so you may feel comfortable because the vaccines do protect against this variant. But Al, this is really a super variant, is what I like to call it. And it's thought to be largely responsible for all the cases in India, the way that the virus is spreading there. And it's also now become dominant in the United Kingdom. And here in the US, 6% of cases now are due to the Delta variant. And this variant is really a super variant in the sense that it can evade the immune system, and it's much more contagious. By far the most contagious variant we've had so far. But as I said before, the vaccines work, so I think you guys know what I'm going to say. Go out and get that vaccine if you haven't already.
Absolutely. Hey, Doc, there's recent news that 2 fully vaccinated and asymptomatic passengers on a Celebrity Millennium cruise tested positive for COVID-19. Now, they only found out because of required testing. So how do you react to this situation, Doc?
Yeah, I heard this. So I have to say I'm not surprised because we know that no vaccine is 100% effective, and there are going to be some breakthrough cases even in fully vaccinated people. But Jeff, I think two important lessons from this. The first is that even if you're fully vaccinated, remember to keep your guard up, as I always say, because there's still a chance you could catch an infection, even though, as in this case, it's likely to be milder. But the second and more important one, Jeff, I think is a public health message, really, which is that we should still be testing. Even as more of us get vaccinated, I don't want tests to go away because that's how we're really going to pick up a lot of these cases that are less symptomatic.
So, Dr. Coley, just yesterday, the CDC announced that it will hold an emergency meeting next week because of reports that teenage boys are having heart inflammation after the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine. So can you unpack that for us?
Yeah, so a lot of different things, Lindsay, to unpack over there. So we're just really trying to figure out, is the vaccine causing this complication or is it just associated? And unfortunately, in this case, it's starting to look more and more likely that the vaccine is actually causing this complication because of a few clues that we're seeing. The first is that it's occurring soon after people receive the vaccine. The second is that it's clustering in a similar demographic, so it's really occurring in young males. And then the third is that the rate of myocarditis or inflammation of the heart muscle that's occurring is higher than the background rate. So we think it's a real signal. The CDC is meeting next week to see what to make of it. But I want to remind everybody it's really, really rare. Less than 0.002%. So even though it might be real, of course, the risk of this complication is far less than the risk from the virus itself. So go and get your teenagers vaccinated. Al, what do you think about this? You've got some teenagers.
Well,
does this worry you?
It absolutely does. I mean, both my teenagers are vaccinated, but the youngest one, baby Ford, who's almost 7, but he's going to be baby Ford forever. He's not vaccinated. So, you know, I'm actually going to that CDC meeting next week. So
you're not
I'll report
a
back to
doctor,
you guys.
Al.
Yeah,
Let us know how it goes.
I'm going to be there.
Dude, Dr. Coley, I apologize again.
Report back to us, Dr. Jackson.
He's not Dr. Jackson. I hate this.
I'm going with Dr. He's wearing a white coat.
Oh, I'm so irritated. Thank you, doctor, so much. David Arquette and Baron Davis are coming up next. Again, no medical degree
Dr.
whatsoever.
Jackson.
Oh, God. Thanks, Doc. This. DBL is your daytime destination.
Fully agree with this.
We're chatting with the stars.
Have you checked in on Lori Loughlin's?
You must have read my mind.
I've never felt better or been in a better place in my life.
I think the director yelled cut.
Then talking about what everyone is talking about.
It's a real thing.
And I thought it was great.
I'm here for it.
Why is anybody surprised?
I tell you what, polarizing for sure.
DBL is all new every day.
When the world went into quarantine for coronavirus, frivolous footwear got shoved into the back of the closet. Crocs and Birkenstocks made a comeback as many of us chose comfort over looks. But with more people returning to work and traveling, heels are once again flying off shelves. The head of the Footwear Distributors and Retailers of America told the New York Times he's seeing a noticeable increase in the sale of dress shoes and that there is real concern over whether there will be enough supply for all of that demand. Makes sense since Google searches for high heels have spiked higher than a pair of stilettos in recent weeks, and people aren't just looking for any old heels. Designer footwear is in high demand. In fact, Manolo Blahnik, made famous by the patron saint of high heels, Carrie Bradshaw, announced it's bringing back its 5-inch heels, something the company hasn't sold in several years. It's a sign that as we hopefully return to normal, we will once again sacrifice comfort for a splash of style. Connecting the dots, I'm Rekha Muttaraj.
Dominoes, the greatest game ever invented. My great-great-great-great-grandfather learned the game from the Chinese. Then he smuggled it back to America, where it spread like on ribs.
Welcome back to DBL. That was a clip from the film Domino, Battle of the Bones. And earlier we caught up with actor David Arquette and director Baron Davis to talk about it and all things Domino. Check out this truly hilarious Chatting with the Stars.
David
David Arquette and Baron Davis, welcome to DBL. It is such a pleasure to have you on, and we're going to get to your new movie, which sounds amazing. But first, David, one of your famous roles is Sheriff Dewey Riley from the Scream franchise, and you are starring in the upcoming 5th film. So is there any like insider info you can give us about the movie, like who did it?
No, I can't talk about it at all. But I can't talk about Dominoes, Battle of the Bones.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Oh, man, it's such a fun movie. I mean, Baron's incredible. First-time director. He did a great job. Wrote the script with his friends. The whole group put together this amazing movie. Just so many talented people in it. It's so much fun.
Baron, like David said, this is your first time directing. So how'd you make that transition from basketball into Hollywood?
For me, I think, I was kind of like somebody, they call him a gym rat in basketball. I guess in film, you would call him like a production rat. So I would just hang around, commercials and things like that. And then I got lucky, I had a bunch of friends kind of pick it outside of David Arquette's house and be like, sign up to support the movement.
I like it.
Yeah, I made that crossover from the NFL to TV in Hollywood. The biggest struggle has been the teleprompter, so bear with me on this one, fellas. And David, you're actually an athlete as well. I mean, you're a pro wrestler, so I want to know, which job do you enjoy most, acting or wrestling? And would you fight one of the Paul brothers? Ooh.
Oh, man. Wrestling hurts. That's just, I think I'm done with all that. I'll stick to playing dominoes now. But the Paul brothers, I don't know. It's been crazy seeing all that. It's fun to watch.
I just want that to be your promo. It's fun to watch.
Let's face it, you really just want to see the guys get punched.
Totally. All right, let's get to Domino, Battle of the Bones. Okay, now this is a comedy about a black man who teams up with his awkward white grandson to defeat his rival in a domino tournament. First, I've got to ask you, Baron, why dominoes? Talk to me.
I wanted to tell these stories of people that I watched growing up that I thought were funny and hilarious. And that's why I put it in, that's why I wrote this movie.
You guys mentioned Snoop's in the movie and everybody loves Snoop, but I want to know, David, not acting, just in a true game of bones between you and Snoop, who would win and why?
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Ooh.
Oh, man, I'm sure Snoop's got the experience. So I would just hope I drew some lucky bones and figure it out.
That's a pay-per-view I pay for.
Snoop has a math.
I had a public Los Angeles high school education, so my math skills are not the best.
Baron, how about you versus Snoop, Baron? Who would win that?
Well, I would definitely win. I haven't lost. I wrote the movie because I ain't never really lost a game of dominoes that I can remember. And my family, my great ancestors, they actually put the black dots on the file to create dominoes.
Wow. Unbelievable. I really want David.
You know what? The only reason he's never lost is because when it gets down to the last couple bones, it's like, oh, you see that over there? Game never ends.
You think you could slam your dominoes down?
And I can talk smack like he said.
How would you slam down your dominoes?
Yeah. I would say this: abracadabra, this.
You can practice on the Dominoes Battle of the Bones.
You're amazing, guys. Thank you so much. David and Baron, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for chatting about your new movie. Don't forget to catch Domino, Battle of Bones, out in theaters right now. Such a pleasure. We'll be right back. Bye, gentlemen.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Verify here with your fast fact. The White House is making a push to vaccinate 70% of Americans by Independence Day. Second gentleman Doug Emhoff tweeted that you can get a free ride and childcare for a vaccine appointment. So let's verify. Can you get free transportation and childcare to get vaccinated? Our sources are rideshare companies Lyft and Uber, the Centers for Disease Control, and the YMCA. In May, Lyft and Uber announced they'll give anyone a round-trip ride to a vaccine site in any city they serve. It's a partnership with the White House to help remove barriers that could stop someone from getting vaccinated. Another hurdle is childcare. The CDC has a list of providers who will watch your kids for a few hours, including the YMCAs in more than 500 communities, for free while you get your shot. So we can verify it's true. You can get free transportation and childcare to get vaccinated. Many of the programs end July 4th. With your Fast Fact, I'm Brandon Lewis.
After 4 bloody years, the Union defeated the Confederacy to win the Civil War and abolish slavery in April 1865. There were nearly 4 million slaves in the U.S. at that time. Union armies began marching through the southern states, freeing thousands of slaves each day. The news took months to reach Texas, the westernmost state in the Confederacy. On June 19, 1865, Major General Gordon Granger and 2,000 Union troops rode into Galveston, Texas, and told slaves of their freedom. The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves. Granger's words spread through Texas. All at once, slaves found out the war was over and they were free. Their joyous, spontaneous celebration gave birth to Juneteenth. Juneteenth, a combination of the words June and 19th, commemorates when the last enslaved people in the South were finally set free. Many slaves were met with violence, even death, when they tried to leave. Yet the promise of freedom extinguished fear and fueled generations of indestructible people. Former slaves gathered on Juneteenth the next year, and the year after that. And over the decades, Black communities observed the holiday with festive family gatherings, colorful parades, and bountiful barbecues. Texas became the first state to make Juneteenth an official holiday in 1980, and since, all but 3 states recognize Juneteenth as a holiday. While it is not a federal holiday in the U.S., following the summer of protests in the wake of George Floyd's murder in 2020, private companies have made Juneteenth a permanent paid holiday for their employees. Juneteenth is a celebration of independence, the day all Americans were truly free.
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments, and a lot of you wrote in about the trooper. Sydney Roberts on Facebook said, they used to say turn on your flashers and proceed slowly until you get to a safe location. Has that changed? The answer, Sydney, is no, and the woman did proceed to put on her hazard, so interesting that he still pitted her. Lisa says, I would actually call 911. Would anyone do that to make sure that it's legit and say that officer is making me feel unsafe?
Call the police on the police.
If you think to do that
I think
in
a lot's
moment.
going through your mind.
Yeah. And finally says, I put my hazards and drive home or a safe place with people around. Police know when hazards are on to follow till the individual they are following is comfortable to stop.
Because that can happen somewhere that's not a highway. You can just feel unsafe in a dark area, and you're allowed to keep driving.
Go where there's lit area, right? Interesting.
That's the opposite of dark.
Oh my God, I can't stand you. If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube. You can chat with other viewers. You can leave your comments and be part of DBL Nation. But if you are sticking around, here's what's coming up. Imagine being kidnapped twice and surviving that ordeal to tell all about it. One woman is sharing her unbelievably true story. And just like that, it's all over. The finale of Keeping Up with the Kardashians aired last night. So what's next for the famous family? And a big thank you to our coworkers watching from home. DBL's New Every Day. We'll be right back. DBL is your daytime destination.
Fully agree with this.
We're chatting with the stars.
Have you checked in on Lori Loughlin?
You must have read my mind.
I've never felt better or been in a better place in my life.
I think the director yelled cut.
And talking about what everyone is talking about.
It's a real thing.
And I thought it was great.
I'm here for it.
Why is anybody surprised?
I tell you what, polarizing for sure.
DBL is all new every day.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Thank you, David. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. I'm Tori. I'm in for Sam today, and I'm here with Jeff, Al, and Lindsay, and we're having a pretty good Friday.
We are.
Aren't we? Huh? Friends?
Jeff, Al and Lindsay?
Al. I said Al.
Yeah,
I heard
you said all.
All right, well, it's Al. Officially, it's the end of an era. It is the last episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and it aired last night. Now, the family started the show back in 2007. 20 seasons, many babies, and a few divorces later, the Kardashians have become a household name. They ended the run by reflecting on the past and putting items like Kim's first signature fragrance and Kris's momager license in a time capsule. The Kardashians have come a long way. Back then, Kris started the reality show to be like another famous family, the Osbournes. Y'all remember that?
I remember.
Take a look at this tweet from the E! Network, looking at where they started and how it's going today. Kylie was 9. Wow.
Crazy.
Now she's a mom running a multi-million-dollar cosmetics brand. Kendall was 11. Now she's a supermodel. Khloe was 23, single, and the family wild child. Now she's a mama. And Kim was best known as Paris Hilton's assistant. Now she's a mom of 4, going through her 3rd divorce and studying to be an attorney. All right. First of all, I love the Kardashians. I've stood up for them since day one. At the auditions, I stood up for the Kardashians. Very happy for their run. Not many people on TV do it.
No, I mean, they built an empire. You say what you want about them. They're in the news every day. They built an empire, and there's proof.
And
it's
they were
all on
consistent,
video.
exactly. Let me ask you, Lindsay, what were you doing back in 2007?
So I found the dweebiest picture. I was actually studying abroad in London.
Of course you were.
And that's the picture.
Wow.
And so that's where I was.
Oh my goodness.
And now I'm about to have a baby, like
Yay!
tomorrow.
Oh, that's
so things have changed, but I was excited to be studying abroad. And I actually sent another picture because I was reading the Financial Times every day because I thought I wanted to be a financial journalist. So I was interning at Merrill Lynch at the time. So that changed also.
You look like you wanted to paint pictures of people in front of the Eiffel Tower. That's what you look like.
Well, I was trying to be like, this is a trip we took to Paris. I was trying to be like Parisian, and it was a fail with that.
No, that's
the beret works.
Yeah, it was a doofy. It was a doofy wannabe.
It was good.
Super cute.
Albert, what were you doing? Were you, you were 30, right? Back in 2007?
Wow.
Just kidding. I'm just
And I was. I was a middle school teacher in my late 20s, just starting to do stand-up a little bit and kind of just starting to get the idea that maybe I might want to do this professionally, but that was me. I was probably drunk inside of a 7-Eleven.
Too cool to smile.
No, I think I was just in there with my friend trying on sunglasses before I'm sure we were asked to leave. But yeah, I used to have fun. It was like, I was living in Miami at the time. It was like the Wild West. You just had fun. There was no social media. I just enjoyed my life down there.
And now you're like this sober, strong dad, great co-host. How do you feel about yourself now?
Boring.
Wow.
No,
and he doesn't want to do anything.
Yeah, no, I love it. I'm happy.
That's fantastic.
How about you, Tor? What were you doing?
I was trying to make it. Here's Stop It Bird. This is my headshot.
Look at that smize. You got a smize going on.
I smize, and you know you're in front of a rustic door, so you could be on Law and Order. You know what I mean? You have to take those certain headshots to make you look like you could do whatever you want.
That was a good picture of you, yeah.
I got nowhere.
You have a bunch of classic photos. Even your high school photo was like very smizey and like while everybody else was a dweeb. I really appreciate it.
Oh, there's definitely some pictures that I have not shown that are dweeby, but yes. How about you? What were you doing in 2007?
First of all, I don't have a picture because I didn't know we could just send in a random picture. I thought in the morning meeting, I was like, let's send in a picture of what we were doing, like to sum up 2007. I'm like, I don't have that. I don't know. Anyways,
so you failed at your homework is what you did.
Yes, I failed at my homework. But in 2007, I was coming back from Los Angeles, a failure, back to Chicago. I kind of went through a rough little patch, and I was doing telemarketing, my old job that's for a 15-year-old, but I was 29. And my boss kind of got me on the right path. And then when I finally got my mind right, Big Brother hit when I was 31, and it's been up since then.
Wow. That's a good story, Jan.
Yeah, you said your boss was the first person to talk to you about positivity.
Because I did fail in Los Angeles, and I had to come back with my tail between my legs, and he put me on the right path. He'd make me listen to motivation for like 4 hours a day, and then be on the phones the other 4 hours of the day. And it worked, because my business, my success went up there, and my success went up when I was auditioning in Chicago. So it paid us both ways, but I do owe gratitude to him and my
What's his name? Give a shout out.
Dave Deeney, man.
There you go.
My mentor.
There you go.
That's awesome. About that stuff, yeah.
Wonderful. Look at that. Well, switching topics, we got Rebel Wilson. She's revealing the inspiration behind her dramatic weight loss. So Rebel told Shape magazine she dropped 66 pounds during her year of health, mostly due to moderate walking. She also revealed that fertility was a major factor in getting fit. She said she's turning 40 at the time and was thinking about freezing her eggs. Experts told her that the healthier she was, the better the process would go. I know all about that. I'm turning 40. People are all around me, fertilizing eggs, embryos, everything, and the best shape you are in. I know it sounds like I'm having omelets made. There's eggs everywhere. I would say that the way you take care of your body affects the way the eggs work out, and this is totally relatable to me. Lindsay?
No, there are a lot of my friends that are going through this and even struggling through this that have just lived these lives that you talked about when you were younger, just drinking a lot, and now they're trying to like rectify all the decisions that they made, even just eating unhealthy every single day and going out too much, staying up late. And so they're just trying to make some smarter decisions. So I understand not only turning 40, whether you want kids or not, but just knowing that your metabolism's slowing down, you have some choices to make. These are real things that I'm learning, like how I'm about to lose this baby weight because I'm not 23 anymore. But it's just like real things that you think about that are like your body changes as you get older. So I understand her saying this.
I have a trainer 3 times a week for half an hour. I mean, it's nothing crazy. Let's not be real. But it's only because I can't do anything the same anymore.
Because I think this is a motivation. I think you just need motivation, right? Her motivation was she wanted to freeze her eggs in the best possible condition. Whether it be a revenge body, whether it be whatever you're looking for, you need that type of motivation to get you going. And I think this was hers.
That's a good point. What's your motivation? You work out a ton.
Al's like the biggest success story. I got to get my life together, sitting next to you. I'm like,
she's here today, our producer Patty, because I used to always be a weights guy, but like I would work out, but then when you don't eat right, you just look like an ex-bouncer. You know, like your body, you look like a failed linebacker. So I wasn't like losing the weight I wanted to. So Patty took me to Soul Cycle, and I was like, I walked in, it was like 27, young, well-to-do young women, and I was like, well, let me get done with this class. A minute in, I was like, if my feet weren't magnetically attached to these pedals, I would have just walked out. I was so tired. But after I got through the first couple classes, the weight started falling off. So starting to move a little bit, I got a bike at home, and that was what did it for me.
Wow, Soul Cycle. I remember, Patty. I was like, here's Al, he's coming, he's like, Patty, are you on seat 22? I'll be at seat 21.
Oh, we would coordinate our seats and everything.
It was so cute.
Patty, I hope you still go. I'll be there in September.
And Patty did it, and Patty is the biggest success story.
Glow up,
she's ripped. Yes.
Ripped, Patty. We love you.
Yeah.
We love you. All right. Well, it looks like Ben Affleck spending some time with Jennifer Lopez's mom. This is interesting, though. The two were spotted together in Las Vegas, where Ben's shooting a movie. Not crazy. According to Page 6, though, JLo's mom was hanging out with Ben at the Wynn Resort Casino while Ben shot his scenes. Well, it's not clear if mom is involved in the movie, but her daughter was not spotted on set. JLo and Ben have been spotted out and about since last month. It's rumored they have rekindled their romance, but neither is officially confirmed they are dating. All right, the big part of the story that I want to get to is Ben Affleck has a gambling problem. He's a gambling addict, and he's been kicked out of the Hard Rock Casino in Las Vegas, banned. So JLo's mom is actually quite a good gambler. She once won $2.4 million in Atlantic City. So people are worried.
Ben Affleck get kicked out because he won too much?
I'm not sure if he won or if he was becoming an addict.
Because they kick you out. An addict. They'll take everything he has. They don't kick you out for that.
Well, at some point he was banned
Jeff,
from it.
excuse me, you're losing a little bit too much money. Could you move it along?
I think his behavior might have been a problem.
His behavior might have been an issue as well, I was going to say.
I looked at it as him trying to rebond with JLo's mom, because I think they're getting serious with this.
But over a casino?
Well, that's her. That's where she feels most comfortable. So why, he's filming a movie. It's a good chance to get some points in with mom. My question to you guys, and I go back and forth with this, can you have a sustainable relationship if you don't get along with the in-laws?
I think it's going to be hard. I think the first thing you need to do is go to somebody's parents, because I know if my mom doesn't like you, she's constantly going to be in my ear. She's in my ear about what I wear on the show every day.
Yeah, she
so if she doesn't like you, she's going to be like, Well, this is my opinion today, and it's just going to make it an issue every day when I go home and lay next to you. So I think that he's smart. I don't know if he would meet her at the gambling table. It's going to matter at dinner, but he chose to step out and take a chance, and obviously he's trying to get in good graces with the whole family.
Yeah, I think you got to get along. I know not a lot of people do.
Yeah, some people do have a hard
right, but I think it's better. It's easier, like Lindsay said, if it is. I mean, I kind of think in the back of my mind want my parents to always like the woman I was with, and they love Jordan. It worked out great, but we could stop speculating. If you're hanging out with Jennifer Lopez's ma, you guys are back together.
Would you have stayed with Jordan if your parents were like, we're just not feeling her?
I don't know. That's a good question, man. That's
to me, it's not even worth it.
You'd think like, no, because I love that person, but it worked out great. I love her parents. My parents adore her, I think, more than me.
Yeah,
so it definitely helps.
Yeah. It turns out like you and the person against your whole family.
It's
That's how it always ends up.
It's really a tragedy because it turns out everything goes wrong. I will say in Yiddish it's called mishpucha, the families-in-laws. They all get together.
Whew, that sounds like a
Glad
dish.
you told me that.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, bring in the weekend.
Sorry. I can't stand you. Coming up on DBL, she was snatched by a family friend not once, but twice as a child. So how could this happen? Why one woman's story could help save countless children out there. And that's our DBL staff working hard at home during the pandemic. We'll see you all again soon. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by
Greatest game ever invented. My great-great-great-great-grandfather learned the game from the Chinese.
You can rock these bones, you can start a cult.
Dominoes, Battle of the Phones.
Yeah.
It's such a fun movie. I mean, Barron's incredible. First-time director, he did a great job. Wrote the script with his friends, the whole group put together this amazing movie. Just so many talented people in it. It's so much fun.
Becoming a new mom is tough, made even harder during a pandemic. And now it appears mental health issues for new moms are on the rise. Let's connect the dots. A new report out of Canada says mental health visits during the postpartum period were up 30% compared to before the pandemic. Reports of anxiety and depression for new moms were up 39%, and reports of substance abuse issues for that group were up as well. One interesting finding in the report was women who lived in less populated areas reported more normal levels of mental health issues starting in the summer. Researchers think that's because COVID cases in those areas in Canada started to fall around that time, allowing for less social distancing, more in-person school, and in-person dining. Mental health experts point out that social support can be crucial for new parents, especially new moms. The pandemic cut many people off that social network and added to the stress of protecting a brand new baby. All this making a tough time even tougher.
Welcome back to DBL. She was abducted twice, a story so unique that it's become a documentary and podcast. But Jan Broberg says the full picture still hasn't been told. Earlier, I spoke with Jan, who wants to set the record straight. But first, let's catch you up on her amazing story.
It's October 17th, 1974. The first time Jan Broberg's life changes forever. The then 12-year-old is kidnapped by her neighbor, Robert Berchtold. They head to Mexico, where Jan is legally allowed to get married. During the trip, he brainwashes her, saying she is supposed to have his baby to save an alien race. Young and innocent, Jan believes him. While crossing the U.S. border to come back home, Robert is arrested. He blames the disappearing act on his depression, and Jan defends him. Berchtold's traps had worked.
Jan Broberg and Robert Berchtold had an unnatural relationship.
I loved him as deeply as I've ever loved anyone.
Before the kidnapping, he spent years earning the Brobergs' trust. He even started a secret affair with both Jan's mom and Jan's dad. But while out on bond for kidnapping charges, the affairs become blackmail. Robert uses them to lessen the charges. He is sentenced to 5 years, but serves only 10 days. Fast forward 2 years to the summer of 1976, when Robert kidnaps Jan for a second time.
There'll never be anybody for me but Jan. Never.
The now 14-year-old still believes she is destined to have Robert's child, so she actually runs away from home. Robert enrolls her in an all-girls school in California so he can visit. Jan is eventually found by FBI agents, and Robert is arrested for kidnapping again, but he is never convicted. At age 17, Jan tells her family the truth, writing a book with her mom. Robert denies the claims, committing suicide in 2005.
When we come back, we talk to Jan. We want to set the record straight with her, and she reveals the details she says that the documentary missed. Stay with us. DBL is your daytime destination.
Fully agree with this.
We're chatting with the stars.
Have you checked in on Lori Loughlin?
You must have read my mind.
I've never felt better or been in a better place in my life.
I think the director yelled cut.
And talking about what everyone is talking about.
It's a real thing.
And I thought it was great.
I'm here for it.
Why is anybody surprised? I tell you what, polarizing for sure.
DBL is all new every day.
When the world went into quarantine for coronavirus, frivolous footwear got shoved into the back of the closet. Crocs and Birkenstocks made a comeback as many of us chose comfort over looks. But with more people returning to work and traveling, heels are once again flying off shelves. The head of the Footwear Distributors and Retailers of America told the New York Times he's seeing a noticeable increase in the sale of dress shoes and that there is real concern over whether there will be enough supply for all of that demand. Makes sense since Google searches for high heels have spiked higher than a pair of stilettos in recent weeks, and people aren't just looking for any old heels. Designer footwear is in high demand. In fact, Manolo Blahnik, made famous by the patron saint of high heels, Carrie Bradshaw, announced it's bringing back its 5-inch heels, something the company hasn't sold in several years. It's a sign that as we hopefully return to normal, we will once again sacrifice comfort for a splash of style. Connecting the dots, I'm Rekha Muttaraj.
Welcome back to DBL. We just told you the story of Jan Broberg, a woman who was abducted twice as a child. Well, earlier I spoke with Jan to get the details she says her Netflix documentary got wrong. Take a look at this. Jan Broberg joins us now. Thank you, Jan, first off, for taking the time out of your day to be here on the show. So many people wonder why your parents never took any legal action once you told them the truth. Do you wish that they had, or are you happy with their decision?
Well, they didn't know until I was 17 years old and he was long gone.
Right.
At that point, you really don't know what to do. You've gone on with your life. Everybody wants to put it behind them. This is very common even today, that people don't go back and find the person. He wasn't married to his wife anymore. She had divorced him. He had moved around, didn't really know where he was. And I didn't want to talk about it anymore. I wanted to be done. I was heading off to college, and it really wasn't until my early to mid-20s that I really started to explore what had happened and write about it and call my parents and ask them questions and you know, why didn't you know? How couldn't you see it? You know, all those things that I went through. But it was very short-lived because I had parents that listened to me, loved me unconditionally, and I was one of those lucky ones that it wasn't in my family. It wasn't one of them. They were innocent too. They'd been manipulated and brainwashed as well.
I want to ask about that, Jan. Talk to me about what you call, and which is so true, the grooming process of not just you, but your whole family.
So the grooming process is as simple as becoming friends with a family. I mean, that grooming was all about picking the kids up and taking them to school and talk to my mom, you know, while she's doing the breakfast dishes at the kitchen sink, or go get my dad and, hey, let's go to lunch. And those were all ways of grooming and manipulating somebody.
I wanted to ask you, you don't seem to have a lot of anger towards your family and your parents. You seem to really forgive, respect, and love them. Talk to me about how that misconception is out there.
Yeah, that was really hard for me because the first time I saw the documentary, I was like, this isn't who my parents are. My parents made mistakes like most human beings do throughout the course of their life. They make a mistake. They do something that they regret, that they wish they hadn't done. But my parents were completely innocent. I had 12 perfect childhood years. If it was a red flag, my wonderful parents would have shut it down, put him in jail, or done whatever they had to do, but they didn't know because it's so not obvious. They're so very sly.
That's why he's successful.
That was really hard.
Let me say I have that feeling with my family, that weird intuition, right? That ripple that you feel. What should I do, Jan, if I feel that?
This is really good because I've spoken to a number of police departments and I've gotten feedback from them, and what they told me is the most important thing is to keep a record. Like on this day, at this time of day, when this was happening, I had this gut ripple, or, you know, I call it that little wave that goes through your gut for just a second. But they said if you keep a record, that the pattern will start to emerge, and even if it's only 3 or 4 things that you write down, you should file it, go to the police department and start a file.
Right, so make sure you document, journal, take the dates down. And I got to be honest with you, you're saving lives by telling people right now to listen to that wave of intuition. Literally, you're saving lives. Now, before we go, a lot of people who know your story and saw the documentary, they just want to know how you're doing. How are you, and what's the future look for you? How are you doing, Jan?
I'm doing great, and I'm very excited because we've signed the papers to do a 10-part scripted series on my story, so I can tell the full story.
Bravo. Jan, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Really appreciate it, and I'm telling you right now, you are saving lives. Thanks so much. We'll be right back.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Verify here with your fast fact. The White House is making a push to vaccinate 70% of Americans by Independence Day. Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff tweeted that you can get a free ride and childcare for a vaccine appointment. So let's verify. Can you get free transportation and childcare to get vaccinated? Our sources are rideshare companies Lyft and Uber, the Centers for Disease Control, and the YMCA. In May, Lyft and Uber announced they'll give anyone a round-trip ride to a vaccine site in any city they serve. It's a partnership with the White House to help remove barriers that could stop someone from getting vaccinated. Another hurdle is childcare. The CDC has a list of providers who will watch your kids for a few hours, including the YMCA's in more than 500 communities, for free while you get your shot. So we can verify it's true. You can get free transportation and childcare to get vaccinated. Many of the programs end July 4th. With your Fast Fact, I'm Brandon Lewis.
After 4 bloody years, the Union defeated the Confederacy to win the Civil War and abolish slavery in April 1865. There were nearly 4 million slaves in the U.S. at that time. Union armies began marching through the southern states, freeing thousands of slaves each day. The news took months to reach Texas, the westernmost state in the Confederacy. On June 19, 1865, Major General Gordon Granger and 2,000 Union troops rode into Galveston, Texas, and told slaves of their freedom. The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves. Granger's words spread through Texas. All at once, slaves found out the war was over and they were free. Their joyous, spontaneous celebration gave birth to Juneteenth. Juneteenth, a combination of the words June and 19th, commemorates when the last enslaved people in the South were finally set free. Many slaves were met with violence, even death, when they tried to leave. Yet the promise of freedom extinguished fear and fueled generations of indestructible people. Former slaves gathered on Juneteenth the next year, and the year after that. And over the decades, Black communities observed the holiday with festive family gatherings, colorful parades, and bountiful barbecues. Texas became the first state to make Juneteenth an official holiday in 1980, and since, all but 3 states recognize Juneteenth as a holiday. While it is not a federal holiday in the U.S., following the summer of protests in the wake of George Floyd's murder in 2020, private companies have made Juneteenth a permanent paid holiday for their employees. Juneteenth is a celebration of independence, the day all Americans were truly free.
Next week on DBL, Matthew McConaughey is joining us live. We're talking about his new book, Father's Day, and if he's feeling all right, huh? Plus Martin Sheen, Fran Drescher, and basketball legend Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Don't miss a day next week only on DBL. So good. Before we go, check out this super sweet viral video. A North Carolina principal bids his graduating seniors farewell with the song. Here's his rendition of the very easy Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You.
And I will always love you.
He keeps going, hits all the part, the hard parts. Amazing.
Who was that for? Was that for himself a little bit?
No!
Listen, if I could sing like that, I would just belt it out right now for no reason.
I think that's how Lindsay should take us out of every show. Just like, I will always love you every show.
Me, I'm the worst singer on the panel.
You haven't heard me. But yeah, that was amazing.
I go to toe-to-toe with you rapping Will Smith. That's about it.
If anyone can belt a song, is there any song anyone here can belt?
Let's hear it.
No.
Come on, Tori.
Summertime and the living's. DBL is new every day. We'll see you Monday, same time, same place.
That's what you wanted the whole time.